welcome everyone to the Sigma Show, episode 76. I'm your host, Sigma, and before I let you know who's joining me today, we do have a full house. Real quick, we'll go over what our topics will be. First up, Regal Cinemas in the U.S., known worldwide as Cineworld, is apparently filing for bankruptcy. That's a big deal because they're the number 2 theater business in the world, apparently, just under AMC. So that's a thing that's happening. A concept that came out in the story like a couple weeks ago, but like I really found it super interesting. I really want to get you guys' take on it. Is this whole rise of the virtual influencer that's coming about? Like I really want to talk and dig deep onto like what this actually means. Is it a possibly good thing? Is it a post-apocalyptic thing? I don't know. One or the other. And finally, we have a lot of information coming out of the filings for Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. And in Brazil specifically, a lot of information has come out that have revealed some back and forth bickering between both Microsoft and Sony in regards to, Microsoft claiming Sony's blocking games from showing up on Game Pass, and Sony essentially calling Microsoft's attempt to buy Activision Blizzard anti-competitive. But we'll dig deep into that with our guests. This week I'm joined by Blue Bones. Oh no! What? All of Blue's volume.
Hold on, one more time. It's been a while. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue Bones, BLUB0NES.
There he goes. Yeah. Superman.
Hey,
Jeff.
what's going on, everybody? Yep.
The Will See Blogs.
Hello, I'm here to start violence.
As usual.
You'll understand shortly.
The lovely Yokita Cat.
Howdy, y'all.
There she is. Welcome, everybody. We've got more guests than we usually do, but it's not the first time. This is the first time we had this many guests on the show. But folks were just so eager, so ready to talk about these topics today. There's no way you can stop me from getting on the show. I was like, you know what? Fine.
Not happening at all.
Fine.
We're waiting for my check to clear.
Discord.
I had demands, so
yeah.
I'm assuming those demands were met.
His face off.
Yeah.
Lies, all lies. Anyway, real quick, just to warm everybody up, we'll try and briefly go over what we've been playing, watching, kind of catch up a little bit, because it has been a while. Like we didn't actually stream last week because of birthdays and stuff.
Yeah.
But anybody want to go first? Let us know what you've been playing, watching, getting into.
Go first. Multiverse has been playing a lot of that. We actually streamed some on Friday night. Blue came out for a little bit and played some 1v1 matches, some free for all. It's been pretty spicy lately. Some pretty good matches. Even played last night. I think I've been playing almost every night for at least a half an hour or so.
Blowing up my Discord.
I know, like, ooh, who's coming? Who's coming? Eyes. But they need to fix the stability of the game. A lot of times, you want to be able to open a custom lobby. Custom lobby won't be able to. You can't open one, or to crash, or there'll be errors. And you're still getting that janky stuff, where you'll zoom around the map. So not as much. Yeah, like it's especially if you have like an Iron Giant on the map, just because it requires so many frames, it just kind of like messes up everything else around it. So hopefully they fix that. But the game's been really fun. I think we got Morty dropping on the 22nd, so I saved up all. Got my coins saved up for him. They seem to be doing stuff on Mondays, and not it's a break from tradition. Most things like DLC or stuff drop on Tuesdays or Fridays or something. So Mondays are good because we also got the new DLC from Destiny dropping on Tuesday.
Yes.
With Arc 3.0. Yeah. So that's
gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Is that the last rework?
Yep. Yeah, rework. Yeah.
And they definitely put their foot in this one. This one's really good. They brought back Blink for the Hunters, so I'm excited about that.
Oh my god!
Y'all don't need
all right,
Blink.
well, y'all have a good one.
What's going on over there?
Blink. But they added a new super for the Hunter as well. It's like a staff he throws where it could stick into someone and then it generates lightning and stuff around it.
Oh my god!
Or it could hit the ground. Exactly. They buffed the super for the Warlocks, the Storm Trance one. And added a bunch of stuff where your melee attack is your normal melee attack is when you run and slide, you turn into an electric ball, and then lightning strikes in the place that you exit the ball.
That's kind of dope. It feels nice to it.
Yeah.
Those slide moves in Destiny 2 are highly underrated.
They are
highly underrated. Like a lot of them are really freaking good. You have reflex, you have projectiles. You have combo melee moves when it comes to the Titans. Like a lot of people be sliding on those slide mechanics, sleeping on those slide mechanics.
Yep, they're really good.
Yeah.
So they said Arc is going to be all about moving fast. The mechanics are Jolt, Amplify, and Blind. So there'll be moves that'll blind a character, take them, making them their screen white, take them away their HUD for a couple seconds, stuff like that. So this mechanic will be an always, kind of an all. You don't need to equip any aspects or anything to make it happen. When you kill multiple enemies, you automatically become amplified, and it increases your speed. So like your agility and stuff like that. So that's gonna be really good for me, somebody who runs like 100 agility anyway. So it's gonna be even faster. So that's gonna be.
You talking about like for like PvP stuff or for PvE stuff that'll be more beneficial, you think?
For the other classes, it'll be beneficial in PvE. For me, though, like for 100, because I already run so much mobility, is just going to be so good in PvP. But the other stuff that they added, like the new supers, the jolt. So if you jolt someone, your next hit on them will blind them. So there's multiple moves that jolt people or blind them. So that's like Solar was restoration and radiant. So damage and healing. This one's more you buff yourself and you blind the other opponent.
Debuff them.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. The cool thing about the Hunter Super though is if you throw it into a boss, it'll stick inside the boss, and it'll be in there generating lightning the whole time. Jeez. So like it's not like it doesn't have to go on the ground. You can go right into an opponent. So that's gonna be super interesting. I'm wondering what the exotics they're gonna add to that. Besides playing, I finished Dota Blood Dragon Book 3. That was really, really good. The animation on that.
So that show is on its third season?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
How long is it? How long ago did that come out?
Like 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah, about 3.
My wife just started watching it. It looks interesting.
It's beautifully animated. Like I thought Castlevania was beautifully animated, but this like definitely.
Chill. Hold on. Hold on. Before you say what you're about to say, chill.
To say it's not beautifully animated. This just is like another level above that. Like you can tell their budget. Yes. Like the animation
are they different studios or
yes.
Is it like the same? Yeah.
Different studios, but I just mean like you can tell the quality, the budget they had versus what Castlevania had. I mean, but don't get me wrong, Castlevania was very well animated. It was an excellent. To me, it was a 9.5 out of 10 as far as my review on it. You know, but Dota was really good. The story was very compelling. I felt like it dragged a little bit at the end, but it was very good. It didn't really show a lot of characters from the actual MOBA, but it did show a few. But it was just really good. Aside from that, She-Hulk episode 1 came out, and I thought it was really good. Wasn't sleeping on it, but I was interested to see the route they were going to go. A legal comedy, how could that work in the MCU? But I will say the first episode was definitely set the par and was really good.
Does Daredevil show up in the first episode?
Daredevil, no. There's no Daredevil. I don't even know if he's going to show. We don't know. Just speculation.
I'm pretty sure we know that he's going to show. He's the only other like attorney in the MCU, right? Are there any other like law related superheroes? There's She-Hulk and there's Daredevil. Like, is that it?
I can't think of anybody else who had their law degree.
Wasn't there a version of Venom that was? Oh, first of all, isn't Harvey Dent district attorney?
But that's DC.
That's DC.
Harvey
That's
Dent
DC. My fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought another Harvey. Wasn't there a Venom that was also named Harvey, or something like that?
I don't know.
There was Eddie Brock. There was the
Eddie Brock. No, not Eddie Brock. That's the Sandman. Who's in Spider-Man 3, the one with Tobey Maguire?
That was Eddie Brock.
Oh, that was Eddie Brock. What was his job?
Yeah.
He was
also a reporter.
Oh, that's what it was.
Peter.
Okay.
Freelancer.
The other dude was
technically
the jock from Peter's school. What was his name? He became
Flash.
He became Agent Venom. So he was a shield agent kind of.
Okay, yeah. No, I definitely out of my element on that. So y'all got it.
Nick the OG said it's Ally McBeal, but she rips people in half when she loses.
Yeah.
That was the only legal comedy I could think of last time you mentioned it. That was like the premise.
It does draw from that, and definitely, I mean, She-Hulk has a history of breaking the fourth wall, so it's not done overly, but it's done in good spots. I think that helped to, and like, this isn't a spoiler, but her origin, they do it super quick and clean, like they get it right out the way. So I love that. For She-Hulk, so good. So yeah, good
Nice.
times. That's it. That's all I got.
Cool.
Anybody else want to jump in? No, all right, I'll go. I haven't actually been playing a ton that I haven't been like assigned to play, but I will say a review just came out on Escapist for Midnight Fight Express. It's essentially kind of like a top-down isometric view, like Streets of Rage, beat 'em up type game, whatever. Like honestly, like if you look at clips of it, like it's very, very Giffable. Like it's got great fight animations and choreography for like finishers and like environmental kills and stuff like that. So like as a snapshot, like it's really, really eye catching. But as like an extended 5-hour playthrough, it does kind of get a little old. Like honestly, like I'm a big fan of beat 'em ups. I like the energy, like the goofiness of like a lot of those game stories. Sifu being an exception because they actually told a serious story, which I was really into, even though it was still super stylish. But like Streets of Rage 4, River City Girls, like they have dumb stories, but it's all like fun and in good faith or whatever. Like this was trying to emulate. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a question. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what makes something Giffable? You said that earlier. I'm trying to feel that.
Basically like something that has like good highlights. Like you could take like a really short snippet of it and it can easily go viral on the internet.
Got you. Okay.
Like have you guys been on Twitter and seen this gif of or this video of like squirrel with a gun?
Yes.
Not yet.
That sort of thing.
Okay.
It's like by just looking at 2-3 seconds of it, you're like, wait, what is that? That's a game? Like you're interested, you're intrigued, you want more. Like it's easy to sell you on just a very short snippet of it. But in terms of like a full experience, like now that we're in the door, it's like, all right, well, what is this going to deliver? For me, at least, I felt like Midnight Fight Express was kind of dropping the ball there. Like, because its one claim to fame are those really good animations. Apparently, they got the stunt man who did like all the mocap for God of War, like 2018 God of War, to basically be their stunt man in this game, and like all that is amazing. Like great looking like parries and blocks and counterattacks and whatnot. But like you're doing the same motions the whole time. Like I never really felt like I was learning how to fight better against these goons. Like the goons weren't really challenging me to do anything different. And even though like the animations were like, they just kept coming, like they were always varied and like fun to watch, I wasn't feeling like I was the one doing it for the most part. Like it still felt really mashing to me. Versus a game like Sifu where like by the end of that game, like you feel like you have mastered something. Like it's like reading enemy patterns and like mixing your combos in a way that actually deals with them, like feels like something you're involved in.
Gotcha.
Like Midnight Fight Express did not really give me that impression.
I feel that.
Now, is that out already or is that coming out?
Yeah, that just came out the 18th.
Okay.
I think it's on Game Pass actually too, so you can try it out yourself. Yep. Yeah, so I mean, like I'm not saying like you won't enjoy it. Like a lot of people probably have a good time with it, but I don't know if it'll last the whole way through. But it's on Game Pass, so you might as well dive in, see how much you enjoy it and stuff. It also had music from Noise Cream, which is the guy who did the music for My Friend Pedro, which is another very Giffable game. If you remember that, like the super acrobatic, like dual wield pistol 2D platformer.
Yeah.
Like that game had a similar issue where it sort of ran thin on its plot, its premise, and its mechanics at length, even though it was a really short game. That game was only like 3 hours, but it had really good music. And Noise Cream did 40 individual tracks for all 40 levels in this game, but most of them are very boring. Like it really felt like he kind of phoned it in here, which is sad because like it was a highlight in the last game that he was involved in. So I don't know. like it has a really strong first impression and just doesn't hold up. And I'm wondering if maybe that's working against it. How strong that first impression.
Are
is.
You comparing it to the songs from my friend Pedro, or are you just letting it stand on its own? That's a good.
No, the thing is, I didn't know that he had also done music for my friend Pedro until after I started writing. Like I already had the opinion, like, oh, these songs are kind of forgettable, but like they made a big deal out of, oh, the music is done by Noise Cream. So I looked him up. I was like, what else has he done? Found out, oh, he also did the music in this game. Watched my review of that game because I actually reviewed that back on the Gamementary channel, and I highlighted in that I really like the music. So I was like, oh, that's actually messed up that he's fallen this far down. But yeah, it's on Game Pass, like I said, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Outside of gaming, I was talking in the Discord about this already, but like I've been watching a bunch of the new Rise of the older Rise of TMNT cartoon. I think it's the most recent one. But Jeff mentioned it got canceled. I didn't realize they actually canceled it already. But it has a new movie on Netflix, which
so good.
Prompted me to watch the series so I could then watch and understand everything going on in the movie. And like the show is great. Like I am so into all of the remixed information for the turtles. Like they're younger, they have slightly different abilities, slightly different weapons.
They're different types of turtles. They're not all the same turtles. When like Leo's a snap turtle, Ralph is when
I feel like they've done that sort of thing before, where like some were like kind of off colored from each other, or like had a slightly different design than each other, or whatever.
This is like very
and I like that. Like it makes it easier to tell them apart, and it makes their, everyone knows them, like, oh, Michelangelo's the party dude, Leo's the leader, but they kind of define their personalities a lot better in this. Like they're much more distinct. They're all funny, they're all interesting, they're all like goofy, but like you really get to understand like how they play off of each other and like what they like and don't like about each other. Like the reason why Raphael and Leonardo butt heads all the time, because that's a classic Ninja Turtles thing.
They reversed it.
Is because because Raphael is the leader in this version, and Leonardo is kind of like a goof off. So it's like when he's trying to get them to focus, Leonardo is the one kind of taking the attention all the time, and it's because he's very self-absorbed, like a leader would be. Like I can totally see if they were to keep going at some point, they're like, oh, Leonardo grows up and decides that, or no, he doesn't decide, but like they all decide Leonardo should actually be the leader because he comes up with all the ideas and plans, and Raph, he's more he's better at other things than necessarily leading. Like he's more like the backbone of the team in that regard. Like he keeps everyone together.
If you want to get started,
he forces them to be better.
Have you seen the movie? Did you watch the movie or just snippets? You said, right?
Well, yeah, like during like Adam's birthday, we were like doing a bunch of other stuff. He put it on the background, so like I was seeing it here and there, but I was trying not to pay too much attention. So I'm gonna watch it over later.
Some slack from this, but it's definitely, to me, by far the best TMNT movie, live action or animated.
Like of all, really better than any.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big, because honestly, the '90s movie, I watched it at this point.
They don't hold up. When it came out, they were like.
I think no. I think the '90s movie does hold up. That's what I was gonna say. Like that old live action. I don't know about the second and third one. I haven't seen those in a really, really long time. But the first one actually does hold up. It's still very entertaining. So like I'm interested in maybe rewatching that at some point too, after I get through all the series and then watch this new movie. But like I'm really high on the turtle. Like the main thing is the animation. Like they borrow a lot from like anime style fight scenes and whatnot, but more so it's just super kinetic movement from like the characters, from objects. Like stuff is always like flipping and spinning, and like they have all the dramatic moving backgrounds and stuff. Like it feels so fun to watch the way everything moves in that show. And like the energy just like it just really gets me like really hyped to like keep watching more and more of it. So like I've been really enjoying that, and it's sad that got canceled because like it's I did a video about this like forever ago, like how people were hating on that show when it was first announced because of nostalgia.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the original '80s show was straight up garbage. Like, just if you watch that today, that show is absolutely terrible.
But I challenge you to watch.
So like, it's really sad.
And tell me what you think. I'm telling you, it's really good. As far as like, it's definitely a little bit more mature than the TV show. Like, it has some more mature. Like, I don't mean like it deals more. It's a little darker than the actual TV show on Netflix, but it's very good.
And this got commissioned after the show was canceled already, right? So you said the popularity of Netflix essentially got them
to make the movie.
A budget to do some movies. So maybe anything else. Maybe they'll hopefully keep doing movies or like other specials for it on Netflix, since that seems to be popular. In which case they can be a little more mature or more, not that they need to be darker, because I really do love the goofiness of the show, but like as long as they get to do more of it and be more free to do what they want, like I think that's a good
like
thing.
I wouldn't be mad if they did in the same vein they did like a TMNT Ronin, like if they did it in this kind of same type of art style. I think
like they tell that story like with
Right.
like this. Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, but that's pretty much it for me. That's what I've been playing and watching.
Nice. Who wants to go next?
I feel bad going next. Like I feel like us three always kind of go first, so I'm just kind of
Dude,
letting...
you're good. I was initially going to talk, and then I'm like, oh, look, I'm getting pings. It's Saturday. Why are we talking about work right now?
Clearly Sunday, so
Sunday.
crazy.
I'm
it's
done.
It sounds like one of those days.
Listen,
I got you, fam. Let me go ahead and
thank
talk
you.
so
I
can
appreciate
relax. What's going on, y'all? It's been a minuto. I've been doing a lot. My media company's picking up a lot of work. The wife and I are looking to buy a house. There's a lot going on in the blue life right now, but there's also a lot of relaxation that goes on. So I've been watching a lot of stuff, playing a lot of stuff. Right. First of all, I did want to say, I know we're going to talk about it later, but you mentioned Cineworld earlier, and that just sounds so delicious. And I know, it's about cinema, but I was just thinking about Cinnamon World. Like, okay, anyway.
That's actually
I'm just...
There's a whole world of just cinnamon rolls and honey buns.
Like back in LA, there's a restaurant called the Stinkin' Rose, and it was a garlic themed restaurant, and they had all kinds of garlic everything, and it's actually pretty good. But that's the thing. So I was like, Cineworld, that sounds like cavities. But anyway, so yeah, I've been playing a lot, been watching a lot, just kind of getting through the days. I'm gonna start with mobile games because I've been trying to highlight that. I've been on this game Survivor.io, and I'm pretty sure it's a rip of something else that was lower budget. But I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. It's one of these games where you're just this little guy with like a shuriken, and there's zombies coming at you from all sides of the screen.
Okay, it's a Vampire Survivor rip.
Yeah, there you go. You get little
because that got really popular.
Yeah, so I found this one. Unfortunately, I was playing another game, and then I saw the ad. I'm like, it can't be like that, and so I downloaded it. They got me on that one. I was like, oh, it is actually fun. So Survivor.io has been great. I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on all this stuff, but I do want to tell you guys some really cool stuff. What We Do in the Shadows is back. I think season 3.
Yeah,
bro. If y'all not watching that, do yourself a favor, go watch it. If you like any kind of Halloween theme, if you like LGBTQ, if you like just comedy, if you just like good vibes and good writing, just watch it. What We Do in the Shadows, really great. Midnight Mass, I finished that. That was oof.
Like, oh my god, I cannot remember the name of the guy who does that, but it's the same dude who did Haunting a Hill House and whatever. What's the other thing on Netflix?
I'm not 100% sure because I hate horror, which is the craziest thing.
No, I feel you.
So
like I'm not a fan of like stuff that's I didn't watch Haunting a Hill House because it's supposed to be a big ghost story or something.
Yeah, I haven't watched that at all. But my younger brother, he's like, look, man, I know you hate horror. Go ahead and watch Midnight Mass. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. That doesn't even sound right. And so some weeks later, I was looking for something to watch, and I texted him. I couldn't remember the name. But, well, let me stop. I remembered the name, but I didn't believe that's what he told me. Because when I looked it up on Netflix and I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, no, there's no way my brother told me to watch this. This looks scary as hell. He said... One thing that he told me that rang true throughout the whole series is that the people are scarier than the monster. And I was like, what? How's that even? I said, and when I watched this, I was like, yeah, there are some scenes, somebody walked in a room, and if it was a monster, it would have been less scary than the person that walked in the room. Because there was just some heavy, heavy scenes. I heard it called Midnight Monologue.
Yeah, there's so there's so many monologues in that show, but they're good. They're good.
I need to double check. I need to make sure that somebody got some awards for this, because if you're
Mike Flanagan is the writer.
Okay, awesome. Mike Flanagan did his thing. I had one issue with the plot point at the end, but if you guys haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil that one for you. So please go watch Midnight Mass if you're
You
interested.
kind of did. Now I know to expect all these monologues. I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got it. Yep. Great job,
Jeff
Jeff.
Flanagan did it. You know, I could have found that stuff out when I watched it.
Yeah.
Who is Jeff Flanagan?
He just put himself in there. He's like, all right, whatever.
He just inserted himself into the story.
So with some of the open party squad, I've been playing Among Us. I've been trying to get a Fall Guys game going, but Among Us has been great. Every now and then, we did what 2 nights this week, I think it was. That was great. Jeff was there one night. Kat was there. That was fun. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to watching real quick. Legendary on HBO Max. I'm catching up. If y'all need some ballroom, alphabet army like stuff in your life, watch
What?
Alphabet Army, LGBTQ, blah 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 blah. That's
yeah, that went right over my head.
I'm sorry. Well, hey, get you in that circle so you know the terms. I'm just bugging.
I didn't realize they just called it alphabet. That's pretty
Alphabet
funny.
Army, yeah. So, Legendary, if you guys don't know, it's a show about ballroom voguing. It's a contest, not reality show, but it's a like American Idol kind of deal. But you have houses, so
It's like a scripted show about
no, it's not scripted.
American Idol type
It is
thing.
not scripted.
Oh,
This is people going
okay.
up for $100,000, dance performances, and Vogue specifically.
Ah.
You have houses, so these are teams that are going up and battling against each other. It's very, very what's the word? I don't think even flamboyant is the word. It's just high energy. That's the word. Legendary is very high energy. I think it's very well shot. It's such a clean show. A lot of fun. If you've watched oh my gosh, what is that? It's eluding me right now. I promise you, babe. What's the name of that show that we watched that Legendary is similar to that you watched? Y'all, she has the answer right here. Watch it. Blanca was in it. Okay, we both having brain farts.
Yeah.
She's gonna get it in a second, and she gonna help me out. I put her on the spot. That's on me.
Dancing with the Stars. There you go.
No, it's not Dancing with the Stars.
He chose chaos today. I can't keep up with you, Jeff.
I know, right? She's gonna get it to me in a second, but Pose, that's the name of it. If you guys have watched Pose, it's this
Pose,
same thing.
okay.
I
Yes.
heard
Yeah, I've heard
Thank you so
hoes.
much.
I was concerned for a
That's what
second.
I heard
know.
too.
I can't watch hoes.
But there
Hell
is
no.
some hoes in Pose, okay?
Them bitches on Gram. Chill.
There is some hoes in Pose.
Right. That's what
Yeah,
Will,
so it's
that's what Will used to do in the Bronx anyway.
Hey, that's only on my OnlyFans account. Take it easy.
hey, look, and it's so funny because Pose takes place in New York.
See?
So if you
Yep.
Pose is a
Oh,
scripted
no.
show, Legendary is the real competition. So
Oh, okay.
those go hand in hand right there. Watching Adventure Time. I'm in season 6. I've been watching it from beginning to end. Just real quick little blurb on that. I'm enjoying it so far. There's a lot of crazy stories that are coming out of every. At this point, every episode is a detail about some crap I didn't know about before, which is really interesting. But I knew, and it's this is not a spoiler at this point, but I knew that Finn was going to lose an arm. I'd seen all the pictures, right? I knew Finn was going to lose an arm.
Yeah, they kind of tease it in the show itself.
Exactly. So me knowing it, I'm seeing that they're teasing it, but I'm waiting so much. It's like Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm waiting for him to lose his arm. And there's a couple times they're pulling it. I'm like, oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Dang it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they do that. a
Bro,
couple
it was at
times.
least 4 times. I was like, oh, here it goes. No, dang it. All right. Okay, so that was Adventure Time. I'm enjoying it so far. Loving the little darkness that's coming underneath, and then you're realizing this world that you've been looking at is not as colorful and beautiful as it originally appeared to be.
Finn has a hard life. They definitely give Finn.
Son, yes. I just got
hard
that
times.
one where he met his dad, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's when he lost the
Yeah.
arm, right? So, all right, here we go. Anime real quick, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. If you haven't checked it out on Hulu, it's a little bit unique. It's definitely not A tier from Jump, but I think it's unique enough to give it a shot. I think it's fun. I'm not even gonna explain that because the name sounds crazy, and you know what? Crazy anime names mean a grab bag of quality. But this one's on the upper side. I think it's definitely worth your time for a watch. I got one more, Sig. I wrote this list down. I got one more. This is the one I wanted to spend the most time on, and I'm not gonna spend that much time on it. But if you haven't tried this and you love tabletop RPGs, please do yourself a favor and play Solasta, Crown of the Magister. This game officially got backing for D&D 5.1, I think it is. And they're using that whole rule book and improving upon it. This game is the best video game representation of D&D that I have played ever.
So it's a D&D tabletop game that's set in like a video game setting or something
so
like that?
yeah, you're playing the campaigns that they've put out, right? And yeah, you're playing it just like D&D. You have a character, then you kind of move the tokens, but instead of it being a token, you're actually seeing the character run and do your actions and stuff like that. So, well,
so it is an actual video game, but it's based on a tabletop game.
It's super based on the tabletop, and it's fully animated, and it's really, really
okay.
Like I'm trying to tell you, this game is done well. The class building's great. The classes are limited right now because it's new, but if you look on their news, they're updating it to a lot of the basic stuff. They're adding monk and warlock next. They just added druid and barbarian. All of your basic D&D classes are getting in there, and
They ain't got no swashbuckler.
not yet. But not only do you get to play
Jeff is hurt. I'm hurt.
I can't be the king of the pirates.
not only do you get to play this campaigns, but this is the greatest part, is that you can make custom campaigns.
Nice.
You can make custom campaigns, use all the assets from the game, and pull together. People have made some amazing stuff, and you just download the campaign and just play it. It's nasty. Make your characters first, then jump in the campaign. It's classic D&D. If you like tabletop RPGs, you are kind of doing yourself a disservice by not trying Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Honestly, for experienced players, it's still good to brush up on the rules, because these are all official to so any of your jank rules that was going on in homebrew, you'll know that they jank when you start playing this. You're like, oh, I've been doing this for years.
This is kind of stringent.
Yeah, like if
rules and stuff.
You know, like when you play Uno virtually and they tell you the real rules, and you're like, dang, this sounded fun.
Yeah, apparently Uno out is not a thing
Right?
worldwide.
Like,
Who knew that?
Right. So yeah, that's kind of that's the vibes with Solasta. But I think it's great for anybody who wants to learn how to play D&D, anybody who has played it for a long time. And yeah, if you just tabletop, that's where it's at. Real talk. I'm playing a lot. I finished the main campaign and got the expansion legit right away and started it. It was like $10. It was great.
Nice. That sounds fun.
Whew, that was a lot. Thanks.
So that wraps things up.
Yeah,
with Blue.
I made a list. I was trying to run through it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Will, you said you had something you were trying to chime in earlier. Do you want to go next?
Sure. I don't know. I'm just kind of here. I wrote down my notes just because, we be chatting for like 45 minutes about our life and what we've been playing. It'd be wild, dog.
That's what we're here for.
Nah, Jeff will start with Destiny, and then he starts going into something else, and I'm like, this is hyper niche, and I support it, but I also have, it's like you're talking a different language to me. I'm like, that's crazy. So I wrote mine, and mine's basic, because shocker, basic boy here. Multiverses, I've been playing that a shit ton. I'm trash. I thought I was finessing at first. It took a while. It took those people to start. When I started seeing the Iron Giants, just two of them, I'm like, all right, cool. Looks like I'm gonna cry today.
No, that's Jeff and I were actually playing 2v2s and came across an Iron Giant team, and it's trash. It's a trash matchup. I fully suspect, just like Overwatch did, where they limited the ability of a team to just pick all copies of the same character. Multiverses will probably stop people from doing that in the future.
I don't mind it if it's...
Otherwise, I feel like that game is not gonna last.
I don't mind it if it's casual, but then when I'm just trying to, like, if there's an actual rank that I'm jumping into, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this sort of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, for the most part...
It's really cheap.
For the most part, I've known the cheap characters. It took me a while to kind of grasp at what was going on. Like, when I started seeing LeBron getting canceled from actual competitive, I'm like, yeah, good. Get him the fuck out of there.
They did that because he was too new. They didn't know. Same thing with Iron Giant. Like, he wasn't allowed at Evo because he was too new and they hadn't worked out everything yet. As far as,
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't met a LeBron player unless they're absolutely brand new in the game. They do the exact same 3 moves, and I can't fucking get their number for the life of me. I hate it. I'm like, dog, no. I can't read it. just the same reason why it takes me forever to get the Iron Giant, but that's get him out the map. But neither here or there.
Lampy says almost like they should balance their game, but the truth is they've been trying because there were a lot of complaints about Velma, a lot of complaints about Taz.
Not just
and they got big nerfs.
When you're selecting these characters, I don't know if y'all been reading the screen. It literally says experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're working.
Most of the time, people, because of the fact that it just kind of came out and they did like almost a pre like season, like I expect that. I'm not really mad at it. I just understood that it takes me a while to really grasp at who's my main. I don't really know who that is at the moment. You know what I mean? If I'm feeling annoying, I'll be Superman. But I mean, I get Harley. I get
that is so on.
Shut up. I'll be going off with Harley though. It takes me a little while, but it really depends on the game and what's going on with that one. So I don't know. I'm having pretty fun. I'm having fun when I'm doing that, but it's getting to the point where I'm like I'm playing with my girlfriend. I'm like, yo, why you not? You see 2 people on me, and then you on the corner of the map. Fucking hit them. And she's like, I'm in them with projectiles. I'm like, listen. You need to get in this fucking mess right now because I can't do it by myself. I lose my mind. So there's that. Shocker.
Teamwork. That's a big thing. It actually encourages teamwork and synergy
100%.
between the two characters.
When you gotta be aggressive. It definitely rewards those who are aggressive.
No, Jeff, hold on. 2 different things.
When I see for the most part when I'm ended up playing I'm aggro for whoever I know needs to get off the map. And then I really have to adjust on the fly because if I see she's getting to work, I'm like, shit, there I go. So it's hard. It's a hard balance. But she hasn't fully grasped that yet because there's still certain things she's really fire with Arya. But if we put bugs, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle because you're still getting your feet wet in that regard. So it's whatever. I'm still having a great time. And for something that's free, I'm not really complaining at it. I get to the point where I really want to support it, but then I realize I play this. I would say almost daily. It's not really. It's probably a couple times a week, but it's not enough where I'm invested. I made that mistake with Roller Champions, and that's obviously a UB game. I could have got that thing for free, but here I was invested, and I'm like, damn you, Eves. But that's neither here or there. Shocker. The Fortnite man still plays Fortnite. Yep.
What?
I know.
How you liking all that DBZ content?
Oh, let me tell you, I done spent too much fucking money on all those Dragon Ball Super skins. It is wild. And I'm thinking I'm fire when it comes down to it. No. I didn't even understand. It took me a while to understand the combination of the Nimbus Cloud Kamehameha wave. And
oh my god.
It just launches you into heavens and it just gets wild. It's so satisfying. No, don't boo me. I love it.
I'm trying to figure out why Kat muted herself, but it's still trying to communicate.
I don't know.
You could just unmute.
You can totally interrupt.
No, because people talk over each other, and I don't like to do. I don't want to interrupt anybody, so I just.
Okay, well, I'm Puerto Rican, and that's what we do in the hood. We talk over everyone at the point.
Boo, boo, boo.
Okay. Well, I'm still loving it.
Yeah, that was funnier.
It's a little gag gift, joke rather. I'm still playing no build though. I don't know why. As somebody who actually knows how to build, no build has just been the to go for me because friends just really don't want to go through the process. And
build.
I actually like
it puts me off of the game.
I like build.
If I'm gonna play, I will play.
I like build when I'm not playing with 12-year-olds who know how to edit and open up the box in 2 seconds. And I'm like, dog, my brain's still processing. I haven't had my coffee hit me yet. Like, chill. So it's things like that where it's like hit or miss for me. Blues mentioned Fall Guys. I've played a lot. Yeah. I got enough for the next season for the Battle Pass, whatever it's called. I've slowed down just a bit. I think it's because Multiverses took a lot of my time, but I still am for the chaotic energy. It's funny how when I play with my significant other, she enjoys Multiverses more than Fall Guys. She just can't understand how the physics work, and that's infinitely more frustrating than
I can see that.
Fortnite. Yeah, but I feel like if you're playing like a FPS or you're playing a brawler, like that's way more intense. Fall Guys, you just gotta press the button and try to be faster.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's clearly a timing thing on much less buttons.
Yes. I was literally about to say that.
You have a lot less options on Fall Guys.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I can see that frustration 100%.
For me, oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say this
is the first time we've interacted. I've been getting boos. I got 2 so far. I'm doing great.
No, that wasn't for you. That was for Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Every time,
yeah,
every
that
time
makes,
Jeff
actually
says
makes more
something
sense.
that I don't like, I'm just gonna hold up my hand.
Copy.
You gotta have a
Boo
Jeff
button.
boo and then a community boo. But anyway, yeah, I was just gonna say, you hit that button wrong once and you're kind of screwed for the whole game for the most part. But on multiverses, you have way more chances to fix any kind of mistakes off of one button press.
You have more
I can see
control over
that.
yourself too than you do in Fall Guys because of the physics are very wonky.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. For me, I guess you've opened my perspective because I initially look at Fall Guys and I don't think of it as like necessarily difficult. I think of
Yeah.
it as just part of the process, and it's all just like when you play like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. You got to figure out your timing, your momentum, and once you screw up, there's a way to kind of fix it if you have enough time on your hand. Like for
Yeah.
example, if you play like one of the games where it's like I forget which one, the one where the platforms you're just guessing to get across and it just
Yeah.
disappears. Like
Mhm.
you can if you're playing ballsy at first, that's
You
okay.
don't have to- yeah.
But then you can follow suit. You can't do that towards the end or when you're getting towards like 60%
Mhm.
of where the map is complete. You know what I mean? So it really depends. But yeah, I also really want to get the Sonic skins, but my poor self is poor, so there's that.
Because you spent all that money on
right.
Fortnite. apparently.
Yeah, dog. Let's not talk about it. They already get $12 a month from me. I hate it here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well,
Do they
Microsoft
do your
Awards, so it's
laundry?
nothing at the end of the day for me. Um, switching kind of, I don't know why I wrote this in this order, so this one jumps to film. Nope, I watched. Controversial.
What do you think?
Don't give a shit about it.
Damn.
I think the structure's great.
You know what? I think that's okay.
I think the storytelling and premise makes sense on paper. The performances does not enact anything for me, nor does the ending. Like I love Kiki, but Kiki was playing Kiki, and that it elevated it. It was good, but I can't like it didn't really do anything for me. And Daniel Kaluuya, he looked like he was there to secure the bag and go. He did not. It looked like he did not give a shit. Maybe that was how the character was written. To see him in roles where I've seen him previously, because I used to watch Skins, like he had a character and he worked and leaned towards it.
Daniel Kaluuya was in Skins?
Yeah, he was in Skins for like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and he was like I thought everybody was about to start searching.
I need to go see. I need to see who he plays because I love Skins. I never realized he was also in that.
Yeah. So like
that just blew my mind.
I've kind of followed his career in that regard, and I like seeing it where it went, and to see him go from that, where his character's just kind of like not the same. I don't know. It feels like a wasted opportunity. I won't spoil too much, but I everyone loved it, and I'm like, this is the one Jordan Peele movie where I'm just like, okay, it exists. It's not his best work, if you ask me, though. Back to games. South of the Circle reviewed it for The Escapist. It is an Apple Arcade game that came to Steam, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of those things where the gameplay is minimal, but it feels like you're actually going through like this sort of super creamy color palette in terms of art, and it's actually really, really good. Short, but sweet. As where I played a game called Hindsight for The Escapist.
Sounds like a dessert, creamy, short but sweet. Whatever.
Listen, it's really hard to explain. It's crazy because when I'm looking at these games, like the next game I'm talking about, Hindsight, has a very light color palette, and it's in your face in the way where it's just like not aggressive in terms of your eye, and it's easy to capture details unless it's something you have to specifically interact with, which is why I called it the inverse of South of the Circle, where it's just annoying gameplay, lackluster story. They go through the process and they explain a lot of the things through cheesy like lines that you would hear from like a corny show from the 2000s. It's like life has meaning. I'm like, no fucking shit, lady, but okay, here we are. So whatever. It's corny.
Talk about it.
Sad.
Meanwhile, I played Lost in Play, which was for The Escapist again because I'm just going through all of them. A point and click game that very much, if you play like Pajama Sam or like Freddy Fish or Putt Putt, humongous entertainment. You love it. It's the exact same sort of thing. Very simple. Doesn't have to be crazy. There's some puzzles that'll get you, but it's not like it'll hold you back. It's just very short. Like for $20, you can beat it in 2 to 4 hours. So it depends on your value. It's one of those things where if I would loved everything about that. And I'm just saying that Lampy asked why I wasn't on game night for Fortnite yesterday. I had company over, but I played Fortnite immediately as soon as they left. And all I see was Amy said, yeet. She probably saw me log on and was like, not today, Satan. So there's that. wrapping with the last three things. Have you guys heard of Severance?
Yes.
That sounds familiar.
Apple
That
TV
sounds
show.
familiar.
It's an Apple TV one. It's picture Black Mirror, meaning the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That Jim Carrey movie that's a little...
Yeah. A little trippy.
No, starting with Black Mirror, I think is a really good. It's essentially one of like a Black Mirror mini episode, like a concept like that extrapolated out to a whole season.
Oh.
But it's a really strong one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I feel like a lot of the times I watched it, I was probably tipsy, and that made it very harder to know what was going on in certain moments, because it's mind-boggling is the best way to describe it. And there's a season 2. I'm very excited for that. I can't recommend that enough. If you like that sort of Black Mirror-esque, or one of my good friends in the industry loves Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it's a
great
win-win.
movie. Have you played Control? Have anybody else here
I
played
own
Control?
Control. I haven't played it as of yet.
Because I would say like the kind of energy that Control has with this kind of like weird, almost supernatural but very bureaucratic, like red tapey thing. Like Severance has a lot of that same energy. So if you're into that, like I think you'd really get into Severance.
Like Alan Wake.
Because it's
like Alan Wake.
It's
What you said?
well, not really. Alan Wake leans a little more on like kind of
They're in the
like
they're
mystery.
in the same universe. I'm just letting you.
Well, I know they're the same universe, but the stories are different stories. Jack.
I know he said Alan Wake, but I heard Quantum Break, and I was like, that game.
Ooh, that's another one.
That's also
Fun.
Randy. And I do think. Well, you know what? I don't think that's in the same universe because they actually use the same character or the same actor for both of them. But maybe they don't care that much.
Have a nice fun fact for
They're
you.
probably in the same universe.
A couple months ago, I went to a wedding, and I met one of my girlfriend's like friend from college. His dad is Lance Riddick.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's your dad's the guy from John Wick. Oh, okay. Good to know. You know.
Did you say don't rainbow read me?
You mean not LeVar Burton, Lance Reddick?
No, not that one. But yeah, okay. And last two things I'm gonna get out the way. Don't judge me. Almost 30. Watched Paddington.
Paddington Bear.
Paddington the Bear. It was.
Nice.
I have only heard good things.
And you
about
know
the
what?
Paddington Bear movies.
It's 100%
Paddington.
on it. Like whatever they said on the internet about Paddington, anyone who said that it was bad or just meh, literally is just they're not in the conversation.
I've literally never seen that critique of those
So
movies.
what ended up happening was I watched this movie not that long ago with Nick Cage, the massive unbearable weight of whatever talent.
Oh
The
my
Unbearable
god,
Weight
you
of-
watched that movie?
yeah.
Why
I
did
heard
you
it was-
throw your money at
I heard it was
him?
good.
I watched it.
I
already
want to
good.
see it.
Dude,
I wanna
this
see
dude
it.
just. I'm sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
let me explain.
I don't like Nick Cage.
So that's
You don't
the
like
thing.
Luke Cage? What you got against Luke Cage?
Not Luke
Nick.
Cage. Get your shit together, Nick.
Like catch up, Jeff. What's
Well, are
going
you
on?
drunk this morning?
I could have sworn he said Luke Cage.
No, what? Okay. Anyway, not the point. So that movie, I've never watched a Nick Cage movie. That was the first time me watching a Nick Cage movie, and
Really?
I
Never?
thoroughly, never.
What year were
Never.
you born?
94.
Okay. That explains it.
That's still not an excuse.
I mean,
You're a
well,
baby.
realistically, what Nick Cage movie would be appealing to my audience? Like, I mean, my age group.
Face Off?
The National Treasure.
Face
Face
Off.
Off
Yeah,
was
National
not the
Treasure.
right thing.
Face Off was like
Yeah,
probably his
Face
best movie.
Off was
When
probably
did Face
maybe a
Off
little
drop?
too early.
See, this is
Oh,
where
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, Face Off dropped like in
97 when I was 3 years old.
Oh,
You thought I was
97. Oh,
3 in the
crap.
movie
Yeah.
theater, like, oh
Yeah.
shit,
No,
that's
not
Nick
in the
Cage
movie
and John
theater.
Travolta.
We're just hoping that you see it at one point when
Right.
it came out of theaters.
All right, well, listen, I didn't, and I'm sorry.
I know that's
At the very least, people seem to like him in National Treasure.
Yeah.
Well, he was also in that movie that was basically where he could see the future. I
Yeah.
can't remember what that was
Yeah, I
called.
forgot. Premonition. No, never mind. Yeah, he was also but he was a magician or something too.
Yeah, I think that was actually pretty bad.
Yeah, Con Air.
Yeah, Con Air I heard was a
The
classic.
Magician-
I heard Face Off was a
Con
classic.
Air's early though, so like I can see why Will wouldn't have watched
Even
or maybe
if
going
Ghost
back to
Rider
that.
wasn't good, it was a movie.
I would never do that to myself. Though. Let's keep it real with you. That's like telling me you wanted to watch the Fantastic Four reboot. I'd rather KMS. No, thank you. But also-
it was a movie.
Can I tell you that So it's so polarizing because people either love or hate him, right? Blue.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I really that was a great comedy movie. Absolutely, like
I heard it was really good. Yeah,
dude, it was.
him
It's,
and Pedro Pascal did a really good job.
which is crazy because Pedro for me is kind of been like hit or miss. Like I really do enjoy some of his content. Like I obviously love him as the Mandalorian.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan of him in Wonder Woman, but I don't know if a lot of people
Yeah, it was
were.
the movie in general.
Yeah, that was the movie.
You know what I
That's not
mean?
his fault.
It's
Have you seen him in Narcos?
you know it's crazy. Narcos has been on the to-do list for a while. I gotta actually just sit down and do it. Like seriously.
Yeah, he shines in that.
Yep.
Well, you need to watch
Honestly.
Vampire's Kiss. I'll download it. I don't care. But what drives me, and I'll get to the point because I'm sidetracking. I didn't know Nick Cage was a Coppola. That made no sense to me. He's part of the Coppola family.
That's news to me. I didn't know
He's
that.
using a stage name, and I had no idea. But
I mean, I knew Nicolas Cage couldn't have been his real name though.
Yeah, no, of course.
He's essentially Johnny Cage from Mortal
yeah,
Kombat.
yeah.
Right.
But here's the thing. So when watching that movie that he did with Pedro, there's a scene where he's like, "You haven't seen Paddington 2? The greatest movie of all time?" And that is what I was like, "There's no way." And then I Google searched Paddington on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's rated
at a
yeah, it's rated that
97%. I was like, "What?" Didn't make
Patty-
sense to me.
Patty 2 is really good. So if you
Patty
haven't-
2
Patty 2
on Rotten Tomatoes, 99%.
Yep.
Brain couldn't process it. It was a lot of shit, and I was just like, no fucking way. So yeah, and even look, Andrew's talking on YouTube. He said recent films like Mandy and Pig were fantastic, which I did watch most of Pig. I fell asleep towards the end. I think it was great. I've heard Mandy's crazy. I've heard there's literally a movie he did on Netflix called Willy's Wonderland or something like that, where he doesn't say a word and he's
it's
fighting
like
animatronics.
It's like a zombie thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Not zombie thing.
It's
Yeah,
like-
it's Five Nights at
It's
Freddy's.
like he does something actually great and then does shit and doesn't care. And
Because the man, he said this before. Nicolas Cage loves acting.
Yeah.
He
like,
loves
he loves
Nicolas
his
Cage,
job.
bro.
yeah, but that's the thing.
What? Where do you get that
Listen,
from? The guy
The
basically
movie
said
that
like he
made
doesn't.
about himself. That's where I got
Yo,
that
that
from.
movie is
What are you talking
fantastic,
about?
though.
What are you
I know you're
talking about?
disagreeing on the other end, but let me
And
tell
it's
you,
just like Keanu
over
Reeves.
it.
Him and Keanu Reeves have the same acting chops. I'm sorry. They both
know
play
what?
the
I
same
agree.
Character in everything they play.
Yeah, but
there's
who's
nothing
more
wrong
entertaining to
with that.
watch? But who's more entertaining to watch?
yeah, but hold on. See,
I'm a Nicolas Cage
I like
fan. I'm
both.
sorry. I don't get the
I
hate.
can't fully go with Blue on that because we've had this conversation about Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt does not play a different character. He does the exact same shit over
Look,
and over. We just hate it.
typecasting doesn't mean they're bad actors. That means they're good at what they do. I don't know why
Yeah,
people
but
always shit on typecasting.
I agree with that. I agree with that too.
I just feel like I'd rather like him and what's that other guy's name? Fuck. I said it before last time. He's from Boston. Mark Wahlberg. I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal.
I don't know.
It's
There's
just-
there hasn't been many Mark Wahlberg movies. So
No, I know that. I just don't get the appeal. I
So
like
you
when
need
he
to
goes
put
into
some-
the
you need to put
comedy.
some respect on his name when you're
Alright,
talking about him.
Yeah, okay, watch.
No.
You watch
Mark
Four
said,
Brothers.
"Why?
Calm
Equals
down.
why?"
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
puts out
Oh,
nothing but bangers.
oh yeah,
He's the
yeah, yeah,
rookie.
yeah. Of course, yeah. What was the last Marky Mark movie we watched? Oh, Uncharted. Fuck that. Are you kidding
That
me?
wasn't horrible.
I
That
like
wasn't
Uncharted.
horrible.
I like
That was
Uncharted.
actually an okay movie.
It was okay if I needed something to watch immediately, and
They
it's one of those.
should have gave him a mustache, and then that would have kind of fixed a lot of things.
Listen,
No spoilers, but they did go.
do you remember? Do you remember when they thought about making the Uncharted movie and Mark Wahlberg was supposed to be actually Nathan Drake, but he aged out because they put it on hold, and that's why
That
Tom
happens
Holland took the
all
role?
time. That happens
I'm
all
just
the time.
saying.
Seth Rogen. That happened to Seth Rogen with Superbad.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be
That
Jonah
makes
Hill's
sense.
character. But
You know what? Everything
by the
happens for a
time-
reason like that, though. I'm not mad at it. My point of what I was trying to make, because we're going all over. And Four Brothers was a classic. I'm sorry, guys. We are just going on a
it's a good
fucking
movie.
tangent. I'm just saying.
The same shit you was talking
Uh,
about before you started talking.
Yeah, this went crazy. This is about Paddington. You know, the smart bear who just
Yeah,
needs
go
to
ahead,
find his family and his identity throughout it all. And now I started watching Paddington 2. And once I'm done with this podcast, I'm finishing up on that one because Paddington 2 is about to make me cry again. So no shame. All right? And then the last piece, so that way I can shut the fuck up. I've been watching the show New Girl, which took me
Oh, that's good.
Fantastic.
I've been
comedy.
dragging my feet so hard on that one, solely because of the fact that the concept on paper sounds terrible. It's
It's very basic.
it sounds like a
in terms of
70s
the
porn
premise.
ready to happen, and I don't like it because
I
like
think
it
that's
shouldn't.
a plus,
But
all right.
what you said, Blue?
I think that's a plus, but you know what I'm saying?
You think it's a plus? Okay. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I didn't expect it. On paper, it doesn't make sense for me. And then actually just kind of diving into it, I'm like, oh, this is just really comfort food and it's just pure chaos. And it's so funny because like I know, like I 100% know someone who 1 for 1 is Scmidt.
Yeah.
Like literally from Long Island, talks like that. Makes no sense. Ridiculous.
We all looking at Will like,
I'm Scmidt? No way. No way. Take it back. You take it back, you son of a bitch.
Big Scmidt energy.
Oh, hey.
We'll be out here getting Schmitty.
Oh, hey. Fuck you guys. I'm not from Long Island. I am fat though, so I'll give you that one. It's just a highly memeable show. I understand where all the gifts come from, and it was fantastic. I'm only on the 2nd season. I can't wait to finish it. I'm going to be very sad when it's complete. And there's that. Because I've been talking for 95 minutes. Because guess what? I'm Superman Jeff 2.
ooh,
Ooh,
the sequel.
Dang.
13. It would be 13.
Sequel. 13, yeah.
14 now, then.
2 was
Price is right, you ass.
Great grandfather.
All right, so Will, mute yourself. Kat, are you ready to actually share with the class now? You've been on mute for so long.
Who's that girl? It's Kat. Okay, so I'm gonna make this really short. You know, I'm kind of a creature of habit. As far as playing, to believe it or not, I have maybe picked up my controller for Apex maybe twice since season 14 has come out. I've been really, really busy with Cat, I guess, real life things. I've been doing a lot of reading, but it hasn't been anything really, I guess, recreational. I'm studying for my LSATs. So, yeah, I'm planning on applying for law school for the fall, for next fall. So,
nice.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of that. But I have been reading a new manga called Komi Can't Communicate.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I bought... So usually what I do whenever I'll randomly go into like a Barnes & Noble or into like a bookstore and I'll just browse through their manga section. And if I see something that's interesting, I'll get the first 2 books just to like give it like if I like it or not. So I bought this one, and then I've been reading Way of the House Husband. And then I started a new... I love it. I wish, like, I know...
Yeah, I've seen some of that on Netflix.
I know it's like a web comic, like the way that the style that they do it on, but I really wish they would have made it into like an actual, like, I feel like
like a show,
like an actual show, because it's extremely funny, and I wish you could really see his personality come out like in an actual show. But it's a really funny anime. And then also I started one that I was really hesitant because I'm just not really into that type of anime, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Did it drop out of the anime?
I think it did.
I don't.
Yeah.
Or is it? It's about. They did release the trailer that I do know.
They released a trailer.
That I do
know.
know.
The show has come out.
But
highly anticipated.
at first I was like, oh my god, like, because it's a really like in your face when you first see like the character, like without any type of context, you're like, oh my god, like what is this? But it's a really good. Not to like have any spoilers for your stream chat or who's viewing Sigma, but it's basically about a man who is paying back his father's debts to the Yakuza, but it's inside of a world that demons are born out of people's fears.
Ooh.
So it's it's a really, I was like, okay, but I'm only on the 2nd volume or the 2nd book, so it's pretty decent. I like it. So that's pretty much all I've been reading. Playing, I haven't really been playing Apex Legends. I have been, however, really, really heavy on my Tekken, more than usual, actually. The patch 5.0 came out for Tekken 7. There's a lot of... they've buffed a lot of characters. My main, they didn't touch her, so I'm happy because I like the way she is. Ling Zhao...
Who is your main?
Ling Zhao Yu.
Nice, me too.
Yeah, she's my main, so they didn't really do anything with her. So they didn't nerf her buffer, so I'm happy. And then at the last Tekken Evo, they actually had there's like speculation or rumors that they're going to announce Tekken 8. So
I thought they did, or was
it was like a spoiler. It was like a spoiler. So like, you know, like the old it's like that memeable. It's when Kazuya is throwing that dude off the cliff and he turns and smiles.
Yeah, and he has that smile.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, there's actually they did it like in it's like an updated one of him older. They did the
Okay.
exact same thing, but it's him older. And then when he
okay.
turns, you see like this huge scar on his eye, but you can tell that he's older. So that's like speculation that it's announcing like the new Tekken 8. So
An actual question:
Well-
Did you see the watch the Tekken
Anime?
anime?
okay, so Blue knows this about me. I'm not really much of like a TV person. So I don't even have Netflix. I don't like. It's $15. I'm maybe gonna watch. Like, I mean, if anyone wants to give me their password, I'll gladly watch it. But
Dang.
I really I have not watched it, but I haven't seen. I'm on Twitter most of the time. I haven't seen anything bad about it. I heard it like it's good, but I really tend to stay away from things that are like adaptations of my favorite games or mangas because I don't want to be disappointed. Like I have not watched Cowboy Bebop, the live action. I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop. I haven't watched Tekken. I'm really
Like, so you never watched like any Tekken thing, like any of the older live action movies, the newer like CG animated ones?
No. And then I am very hesitant about watching. I know Avatar: Last Airbender is in projection for Netflix, the new one,
Yeah.
and then also Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm extremely, extremely hesitant about that one. I'll ride or die for Yu Yu Hakusho. Y'all know that. That is like my favorite
Wait.
anime of all time. So
How far are you gonna ride or die? Will you ride or die far enough to pay $15 and get some Netflix to watch this and support them?
you know what? I will.
I mean, it is money in the creator's pocket. Whether
It
it's
is.
good or
It
bad.
is. So I think what
That's
I'll
what I'm
do
saying.
is, yes, I think I probably will pay for Netflix when it comes out for you
For the
for you
month?
Hakusho. Yes, for
Got
you
you.
Hakusho. Yes, I will.
No,
To,
but
to add
Okay.
to add to those views to the show, regardless
There
of
you
whether
go.
they do it or not, whether they executed it correctly or not, that's not on the creator's fault. That's not the creator's fault, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much it. People have been trying to convince me to get Fortnite, but since this Dragon Ball Z stuff came out, that's just telling me even more so no. You already know how I feel about Dragon Ball.
Boo.
So they
We would
told me
not
now
stand for
they're
this slander.
so
When you
there's
say that, when there's a Yu Yu Hakusho skin, I don't want to see you log on.
Ooh, that might happen. Real talk.
100%.
That very
It's-
much is probably
everything's
coming.
possible with Fortnite now.
I love Yu Yu Hakusho. That is my favorite anime of all time. But I have such a disdain and hatred for Fortnite that I would not buy him.
Oh, it's because it's
So-
superior
No,
than
Yu
Apex?
Yu-
Okay, that's cool.
Yusuke with a gun actually makes sense.
Yeah, not Goku or Vegeta wilding out.
Yusuke with the Draco. No, what I'm saying though is that I don't know. I have never been a big fan of Fortnite, but people are telling me they used to feel the same way. But now that they have a no build mode, a lot of people enjoy it a lot more.
Right.
So some people have been trying to convince me to get
Give it
Fortnite.
a shot.
Um,
Give it a shot.
wanna
Listen, I had the
let
same
you
thing
We
with
should,
wanna
we should
let-
all
for a
jump
while.
in there in the no build mode
I'm
and
down.
actually give
I'm
it a
down
try.
for no build. I've been
Actually,
wanting to
you know
try
what?
it.
I'll do this. If
Ooh,
the open
pressure, I like
party,
it.
if the open party does that, then I'll do it because I'll do anything for the open party. That's my Discord.
Oh, you heard it here
Aw,
first.
Yeah.
it's
One thing
true.
I heard they're working on a 2D fighter for Yu Yu Hakusho.
Really?
No, I think
It already
that's
has
lying.
And I was really
I don't like
honestly, not to beat a dead horse or kick up older, but I was really disappointed in Jump Force, like everybody else.
Oh yeah, Jump Force is
It was
terrible.
a bad game from the
It,
get-go.
it was such that game had so much
Some
potential.
good stuff. It had some
It-
good
no,
stuff.
it
Come on,
had-
Jeff, stop.
It
Stop.
had,
No,
it
you're
lying.
had, so, it had
Yeah.
so much potential, and I was just like when they started doing all like the character reveals, like it kind of go.
It was exciting.
It kind of
in
goes
terms
back
of
to what you
the
said about
idea.
how like the squirrel game, but how you see like a little snippet and it gets people interested or it gets people excited, but then okay, what are you
Yeah.
really going to bring to what is the game actually going to give us? So
Right.
I kind of feel like that was a huge letdown because I remember when they revealed Yusuke, then revealed Luffy, and then when they revealed Toguro, like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Right.
Complete and total disappointment.
But Hiei is the best out of Yu Yu Hakusho anyway, so
That's subjective.
no, it's
Yeah,
a fact.
I'm
It's
pretty
a
sure.
fact.
Hold on, real quick before we move to our actual topic because this has taken a very
Sorry,
long time.
sorry, but
No, it's fine.
I'm
It's not-
done. I
not your
digress.
fault. Not your fault whatsoever. But Jeff, Why do you like Hiei?
What do you mean? Why? What are you hinting
Like,
at?
what is your? Why do you think Hiei is the best? I'm just
what
curious.
are you hinting at? Is what I'm saying.
Got a Google search.
I'm not hinting at
man.
anything.
What is
He,
I'm
he had
looking
he
for-
had some of the best character development in those first couple seasons than anybody else.
Okay.
I disagree.
As far
disagree.
as like in the Dark Tournament, to me, like before Yusuke got that power up at the end, he was definitely the strongest on the team. And also,
He was never.
I know
stronger
we
need
than
to-
Kurama.
I
What
know-
are you
no,
talking
hold
about?
on.
He's just
I-
as
He was-
edgy.
He was
I need-
afraid of Kurama.
I
What?
need-
to
Just
put
as
Kurama
edgy.
in the hole, son.
Get out of here.
I know we have to move on to the actual topics, but I will say this. For someone who's read the manga back and forth and seen every single episode at least 15, 20 times,
Because he had
I
the
will
sword.
I will say that I think Kuwabara has the best character development out of any of the main characters.
That's who I would have
Yes,
picked.
long
as best
term.
character
If long
development.
If you, from the very beginning to the very end, he has the best. And what people don't realize is he has stronger spiritual awareness next to anyone. The only person that's, I guess, better than him when it comes to that is Kurama, but he has better spiritual awareness than Yusuke and Hiei.
Yeah, that was
So-
into that early on too. Yeah, that he had very strong spiritual.
So, but anyways, I digress. That I can do a whole podcast on Yu Yu Hakusho. But anyways, I'm done. Thank you.
And maybe she will one
Yeah,
day.
I don't know.
100%.
Thank you.
I had to
Hey,
Google
Kay,
search who
but-
Hiei is because I was like, what is this Dragon Ball Z haircut looking ass? Like, nah, who is this person?
Wait, you never watched Yu Yu Hakusho?
Mad disrespectful.
I
Just yes or no?
Have
Yes or no?
not.
I'm just curious. Oh,
You can go through all the anime you love and list it, and I guarantee, unless if it's Dragon Ball, I don't know.
And that's
Okay.
the one that's the one that I cannot stand, and I've watched
Ooh.
it.
Which is,
Ooh.
I understand that.
I
A lot of
digress.
people have a love-hate relationship with Dragon Ball. I totally understand.
It's just
but,
a pure hate for me.
all right, well
Oh,
then, she woke up and chose violence. Can we move? I will watch this show. I've had it on the to-do list. It's just a matter of, you know what ends up happening? All this. What? Why is she pulling out the DVD? Why is she pulling the map?
I said I'm kidding. It's just
Oh, okay.
I troll Blue Nose.
Oh, okay. I'm dumb. So you gotta verbatim for me. Okay. Anyway, I'll watch Yu Yu Hakusho. I just need to fucking understand. Listen, I still have to watch things like One Piece. I'm still
No, you
like
don't.
a.
What do you mean?
Watch
Why would
your
you
mouth.
have
I'm
to watch
still in a situation where, and this is never gonna die. I'm still at like episode 120 something at Naruto because I've given up. They're still in the trees fighting someone. I don't know. This
Naruto's having a renaissance. Like all the kids are catching up on it now that it's on Netflix.
All the kids?
Like all my
What?
my son.
you sound like you're 90.
I told my son to watch it years ago. He shows up after camp and goes, Dad, I gotta watch Naruto because all my friends are talking about it at camp.
How old is Starboy now?
You gotta do his homework.
He's 9. He just turned 9.
He's
Happy
yeah, okay,
birthday,
so it makes sense. I got mine's around elementary, middle school too as well, so it makes sense.
He said, "Dad, I can't be a part of the conversation if I don't know what's going on."
Exactly. I'm like, I told you already.
All I
you should
know
watch the
is
show,
that,
but, you know,
like-
you don't listen to me. You listen to your friends.
All I know is that from what I've tried to watch, Naruto's kind of a piece of shit, and I feel like he's gonna be a piece of shit dad too.
He's a
Well,
wow.
who's he raised
Wow,
by?
that's a jump.
I know because I
he's
know
an annoying kid,
Naruto.
for
I
sure.
played the video game, so I know he has a kid.
What video game did you play? He had a kid in.
Isn't Boruto? Isn't
game,
Boruto
yeah.
it?
Oh, you played the Boruto game, not the Naruto game. Okay, I'll just give.
I played all of the anime games, unfortunately, and it's just the fighting ones,
All of
Hey,
them?
all the
Sigma,
fighting ones.
Are
Yes.
you ready to move on to your top?
Sorry, yes,
I
go,
know
go.
you
Oh,
know
yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry.
on
Yeah,
the
you guys, you guys absolutely distracted me. All right, we're gonna move on to our first topic: Regal Cinemas, Cineworld
Cineworld.
filing for bankruptcy. So this is sort of a big deal because they're the #2 movie theater chain in the world. We already know AMC was having similar problems post-pandemic, and they coincidentally kind of hung on for dear life thanks to sheer luck. Honestly, the fact they became a meme stock kind of skyrocketed their share price and allowed them to borrow against that and kind of stay alive. But we were all sort of assuming that once the pandemic slowed down, that folks would be eager to jump back into theaters, but that has not seemed to be the case, largely because the streaming services continue to put a lot of the big name titles and stuff on their streaming services, if not day and date, then at the very least, you know, super close after, like maybe a month at most for some of the biggest titles. So my question is is there they're filing for bankruptcy, like is there a way for them to come back from this, or are we looking at just a complete degradation of
Blue has so much to say.
theaters
I mean,
at this? Yeah, go ahead.
The only reason why I have something to say is because we talked about this on the Sigma show before, way back in the day when the pandemic started, and all these movie theaters were starting to have problems, I remember specifically saying, I hope that this becomes close to this is the start of the end of these movie theaters at this point. Because I think the streaming services are much, much better for our way of life. Real talk. I've said this for a long, like when people say, "Oh, it's coming back," I'm like, look, at this point I don't want it to come back. It's a ripoff with the prices that they charge, and it's dangerous at this point. Before the pandemic, people were shooting up movie theaters. Like, look, let's just watch stuff.
Well, that's
Now, if
anyway.
you
That's saying let's not go to the supermarket. Let's do it all. Let's not go to the doctor's office.
Hey, look,
People shoot it
I got
everywhere.
Instacart, son. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of not far off.
Yeah,
Instacart,
and
hold
the
on.
doctor's office, I have multiple virtual appointments before I actually have to go in for something.
Yeah,
physical.
that's that introvert in you. But like some people like
No,
to
it's
go
not an
out.
introvert. It's the safety in me.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, here's the
safety.
thing. When we hide from public because of
Hide.
things
No, be safe.
that we think that could happen. You could be safe, but then that's saying you can't. I mean, anything can happen. It could happen to you in the house. We've seen where people get killed in their own house from
100%.
people. So I don't think that's to me a valid thing. Like, oh, I don't want to go to movies because I don't want to get shot up. Like we look at
I mean,
these
that's
shootings,
part of it, but
like, you can't go to school. You can't go to
yo,
work.
movie
You
premieres have
can't
been
go-
targeted. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so have schools.
Yeah, I'm leaning with Jeff on that one.
I
As
hear what
much
you're
as I
saying,
hate
but I'm just
movie
saying
theaters.
I'm just saying it's another factor. I'm not saying that's the only factor. I'm saying it's another factor. You also got freaking monkeypox and COVID out here now. You know what I'm saying?
That's
We're
another
just talking
thing
about safety.
that
That's
can
what I'm
happen
saying.
anywhere. Yeah, that's another.
Not
thing
in my
that's
house. I'll tell you that.
that's the only place.
What I'll say is
Not
like,
in
no,
my
I
house.
understand what Blue's saying. Like, it's not the only factor for sure, but it's definitely part of the reason. But I would presume myself that the bigger reason is just the straight up convenience of not having to leave your house.
That as well.
The fact that there is an alternative to watching those movies in your home, especially if it's day and date. Like most folks are just not going to go to the theater because they can just get it in their house, even if they paid the extra $30 or whatever it was. Like if they have to wait a month, in some cases that's a better option than just going out
'Cause it's the
either for
same
fear
movie
or
every
for
month.
inconvenience or whatever. So like I fully rest the blame on streaming services.
What?
Like that's what's killing movie theaters.
I don't think so. I think another thing is that there hasn't been a lot of big budget releases.
That's true too.
To help bring that back. Only reason we're not talking about AMC going bankrupt is because of that whole thing they had with the people buying their stocks with that whole fiasco. So they got more of a lifeline because people were going in. Remember when it was like dirt cheap? Remember that whole fiasco with AMC
Same thing
stocks?
same thing with GameStop.
Mhm. Exactly. Like that's the only reason they're holding on. But like, I feel like the streaming services in the beginning were more so for safety because you had COVID going out. So they gave you an option. You could either pay $30 today, or you could go to the theater and see it, or you can wait till it comes out on streaming services.
What's
The
the
other
difference
thing-
between COVID
I'm
back then
reluctant
and
to think
COVID
that
now?
that was.
Let me finish
What's
my
the
point.
difference?
Let me finish my point real quick.
No, go ahead.
So another thing is the biggest thing is that people who go to the movies, they're not going for everything. Like unless it's like a big blockbuster, like a Marvel movie or something like that, there's not many movies that are people are going to see in the theaters. So there's some damage that just isn't repaired yet. Unless there's those big blockbusters like Thor: Love and Thunder, and if that doesn't do well that first weekend, people aren't going back. It's not going to continue to to reach that peak going. But like I've gone to the movies a couple times. I took my son to see The Rise of Groot. I took him to see Lightyear.
That is not
Rise
the
of
name the
Groot?
Yeah, The Rise of Groot.
Groot, okay. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
The Rise of Groot. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The Rise of Groot. I took him to see Lightyear, and there were seats. Like even when I was taking him to see Sonic, like Sonic 2, like I had to change the because it was sold out. Like a couple of showings were sold out. So there's certain movies that draw appeal, but there's still people who don't go to just anything. Like that Jurassic movie that didn't do very well at all. There hasn't been a lot of blockbusters, and also they're very spread out. Like we got Thor: Love and Thunder. The next time we'll get another movie is November for Wakanda Forever. So there's a big gap, and where these movies are thinking, okay, we can make back some of that money with these summer blockbusters. There weren't many summer blockbusters. Like now we're looking like we won't really get any real like blockbuster movies until like close to Christmas time, and that's usually a problem because summertime is when they make a lot of money. They I think it's like 50%.
But what?
Mhm.
But like,
Yo, you gotta let us
why
respond to
is that?
something. You gotta let us respond
Yeah,
to
go
something,
ahead.
bro. Because that was the long thing I was trying to respond to.
Well, I
So we
wanted to
did
finish
it.
a point
And plus,
before
them
you.
two.
I wanted to finish
Yeah,
a
I
point
don't.
before you interrupt me, and then I lose.
That was
the
like
point.
3 points though. So how we respond to anything?
No, it was one big point. It's one big point.
Go ahead, yo.
One big point. Thank you.
Well, what? No, what is? Do you still have the response that you were trying to make, Blue?
Well, I mean, the response was to the first thing he said that had nothing to do with the last thing he said.
Well,
That's what I'm
What do you want?
saying.
Well, respond to the first thing.
The
Then.
first thing is,
that you
what's
had
the difference between
response
COVID at
on.
the beginning of this pandemic and COVID today?
It's different. It's way
It's
different.
very
I
different.
don't. That's what I'm
The
saying.
fact
So
that you have to
what's
ask that question is
no, Jeff. I want you to
Okay.
say it. I'm making a point.
what is the
Something
difference?
different.
It's not as contagious as it was. You don't have people
It's
dying
not as
from it.
contagious.
Yeah, you don't have people dying from it. You have the vaccine out, which are helping with the symptoms. There's
Mhm.
multiple reasons why. Most places you couldn't even go to like had half capacity because you couldn't go in because of that. You had supermarkets who had they had times that people can come shop based on their last
Yeah,
name.
I
There's not
remember
the
that.
same things anymore. Now you have full capacity open. You don't have people wearing masks everywhere. You don't have even when somebody goes out from work. For me, it used to be 2 weeks they had to be out, plus they had to get 2 negative tests to come out. Now they're just out for 5 days and they have to wear masks for the next couple of days.
Yeah,
So,
like all the rules
yeah,
and stuff
so
have
things are,
loosened.
yeah,
And
So
things are
the
definitely
rules have
not
loosened. Has COVID changed?
as a threat of it. Yes. How many cases do we hear about on a daily basis? How many deaths do we hear about on a daily
Bro,
basis
I'm not
from
gonna
COVID?
lie, because it's so tragic. I try not to look at those numbers. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie to you.
that's
But
how you make
that being
the
said, hold on. But that being said, so I'm talking about like specific numbers, right?
Mhm.
But I do look at like the trends. Like on average, are we still going up? On average, are we kind of starting to come back down? And if you're looking at, I even just did a search real quick.
Mhm.
We're still escalating. Slowly but surely, we're still escalating.
public
Yes.
perception is that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
And I think, I see both sides of the argument, but I think, for example, with COVID, it's something that first happened, no one knew what was going on, the world was just in complete disarray and chaos. And then, now that there's we know the symptoms, we know there's vaccines, that we know how to counteract this thing at some point in society, or 5-6 years down the road, or it's going to be something like, okay, it's COVID/flu season, make sure you get your COVID shot, or make sure you get your flu shot. As of right now, it's still something that's still very new, as far as it's a new virus, and it's still something that they're trying to combat and understand. So I can see Blue's side, and I also see Jeff's. It's not as bad as it was, but it's still a very big issue. And
yeah,
I
it's
think,
still a factor.
and I and I
Like it
and I
definitely
think,
has an
Yeah.
impact on everything.
Let me ask you a
absolutely,
question. Are people not going to the beach? Because we saw the summertime beaches were
Yeah.
at capacity. So why would that be any
Just
different?
because people are out doesn't mean that the pandemic has changed.
yeah,
Jeff.
yeah.
No,
And
that's
That is
no. We're
those are
talking.
not
Well,
That's
connected.
not what we're debating. That's not what we were debating.
Real quick, I think that's a kind of a good point, because people aren't, like, they're different industries, like
Right.
travel and beach and vacationing. I don't think the pandemic is affecting that the same way it's affecting movie theaters. But again, that's because of streaming services. Like
It's
I
not
honestly
because of
think
streaming
that
services.
is
No, you're wrong.
I honestly think that's the biggest nail in the coffin for movie
don't.
theaters. Like
Yes.
just the straight up
I
convenience
I
You
think
of
can
I
watch
think I
these same
think
movies conveniently and safely.
And I think
Yeah, but
the
that's-
pandemic compounded that. I think these streaming services were already starting to kind of gain some traction
Yeah.
before COVID, and then when COVID hit, it's like, this is all the more reason for
it was an
us.
acceleration.
Yeah, this is
Exactly.
all the
Well,
more reason for us to stay inside. For example, Blue's known me for like almost 12 years now. I've never liked to go to the movies. The first time I went to the movies in like 8 years was when I went and saw Black Panther. Before then, I think it had been like 2010 that I had gone to the movies. So I've never been a really big movie person myself,
Mhm.
but I can understand what Sigma is saying, as far as like the death of movie theaters is primarily because of streaming services.
all
And
right.
co- and,
Like
co-
that
and,
is
and,
I'm-
co- and, co- and
TV
COVID
killed the
and,
radio
and,
star.
and
Well,
COVID and COVID and COVID is what accelerated. It's like COVID was the accelerant on that. Like, like when you throw accelerant onto a fire and it just makes it spread even quicker. I really feel like that's what COVID did.
This
Well,
is
the
my
last-
That's just
thought.
my opinion.
The
When I
last
look
time
at
a
it-
movie went on Disney Plus that was paid was, I think, Shang-Chi was that Black Widow was the last time they did it where you could buy a movie directly from home. After that, all movies went to theaters, and then for HBO Max, I think the Batman took a while to come out. The last one they did straight to HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken, was either Tom and Jerry or The Matrix, the newest Matrix movie. After that,
those were all part of a deal.
After that, every other movie went to theater. So streaming services weren't a factor. The biggest thing that I think
I disagree.
Yeah, see, this is where I want to respond.
Let me finish.
Right
You can't. I'm in the middle of saying something. You're
killing me, Smalls.
So streaming services after that didn't affect it much because the movies were going straight to theater. Even like the DC CEO said that there's no correlation. It's not economy wise. It doesn't pay to put a movie straight to a streaming service. Like there's no direct correlation. Like you go from a movie, you get some subscribers, but going to a movie theater worldwide is like, let's just say $300 million for a movie, especially for a movie that has like a $90 million to $100 million budget. They're not making back that revenue just going straight to a streaming service. So
No, and that is true. That is absolutely true. But the reason why they bumped it off of that, I don't think was fully because they couldn't see the revenue. It was because they had the deals with the theaters. Like the theaters were the ones who got upset that they even did this in the first place, but their hands were tied because you literally could not put people in movie theaters. It was like illegal to do so. So like, what were they really going to say once they panned this thing? So they had them on their backs.
They didn't have
as
a
soon
deal.
As that deal was done.
They didn't have a deal. Because if you remember correctly,
What do you mean they didn't have a deal?
You remember correctly, the owners of the Fast movies, they weren't getting sued, but Regal was saying they weren't allowing any more Fast movies in their theaters because that
was a protest.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So there was no deals in place. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do that. They weren't allowing any more Fast movies in their theaters because of I forgot what movie preceded the Fast movie that it was like it was a kids movie or something. It went straight to stream.
It was some animated thing.
Yeah,
and you're right. You're right. But that's essentially the conversation.
Yes.
Right? Like they're upset that they're losing revenue because these bigger production houses have streaming services to actually release movies on rather than theaters. The theaters are basically crying out to them like, all right, well, we're not going to put any of the rest of your other stuff in when the world opens back up. Meanwhile, the movie studios are like, well, we're not so sure the world is going to open back up. And if it does, that it's even going to matter. So like they're doing their best to, on one hand, salvage, quote unquote, those relationships, but they don't actually care. But what I do think is interesting is if the movie theaters are dying, we are continually learning, because just the last podcast we had, we were learning that a lot of these streaming services are actually struggling. Like all the cuts at WB and whatnot, because HBO Max, like the CEO of DC said, there's no way to really extrapolate how much money you make back from releasing these big budget movies on the streaming service. So like everyone knows that this is the future, but no one really knows how to make money off of it. And so the movie theaters are dying because this is the future, streaming services. But then they're spending all this money to put stuff on streaming services and kind of hemorrhaging money in the process. So I do feel like this is sort of a weird black hole that the whole industry is falling down into. And I don't really know where it's going to end up, because streaming's not going anywhere. Like that is how the consumer, us, that's how we want to spend our time, watching streaming shows. And if we can get it, watching the big movies on our streaming services. And movie theaters like Regal can't keep up because, like Jeff said, there's not enough stuff coming out. There's, like Blue said, there's people who don't want to be in theaters with other folks. Like there's all these different reasons to not go versus reasons to go.
And I think oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, jump in.
So, I like you said, it's pretty much like figuring out how to do it and how to still profit from it. It's like, like we know this is the future, but now these streaming companies are trying to figure out, okay, how do we get that return on what we're, on these, you have $100 million budget for a film and then it goes straight to streaming services. How are we going to recoup that money? But I would say, I guess it would kind of be like a trickle down effect, even though the future of, movie theaters it's fading out. I think for like small businesses, this will be a great opportunity, because when, theaters eventually get phased out, you'll have you'll have towns that may have 1 or 2 movie theaters open. And someone's like, what, we feel like going to the movie theater instead of, staying in and streaming something. So for small businesses, this could actually be a really positive thing. In all aspects,
like a niche movie theater house. Like
so
it's
eventually it's going to be, movie theaters are going to be the new drive-in movie theaters. It's going to be something, essentially like, hey, instead of staying home, the only movie theater in town is actually going to have the new release of Spider-Man or the new Marvel film. And then the next thing you know, it's packed. The whole movie theater is packed. So, unfortunately, I think that for small businesses, I think this could be like a really, and I'm not just talking small businesses it's like a trickle down effect when you have like, okay, we're going to go out for a movie, then we're going to go eat something and XYZ. And it could be like a domino effect for a lot of small businesses. And people don't really, when it comes to movie theaters, I don't think people really think about that, but it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say they do a bunch of like single theaters in like a bunch of places. I don't think the studios are gonna pay for advertising and all that stuff. The amount of money it costs. They usually do that. They know that the payback is gonna be so much bigger because you have so many movie theaters. How much money they're gonna gross, worldwide.
Well, of course, but at the end of the day, it's I'm really focusing more so on how profitable it is for the small.
Oh no,
not
but
necessarily but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because like when they pay for the movie rights to play that movie theater there, I mean when they play that movie there, if the movies, I don't think they're gonna do a combination. If they go to straight streaming, they're gonna go to streaming. They're not gonna do we'll do some streaming here and then release it to a couple of the mom and pop movie theaters. They're either gonna do it, one under the other.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some type of, I don't know. Because somebody's gonna buy them. Somebody's gonna buy them once they go bankrupt. Somebody's gonna buy all their assets.
This whole time, I have just been disagreeing with everyone but Jeff. Solely just because it's just because of the fact that like I have friends who work at MGM. I have friends who work with Amazon regarding their television and production unit. Mom and pop things are gonna be going away. I'm fairly certain about that. Right about now, what the profit ends up being for films is the bigger blockbusters. Top Gun Maverick, a prime example. When we get those bigger, we don't have Jurassic Worlds anymore. It doesn't have the same appeal. But when we get those films, that's what does it. You have to look at the trends in the industry entirely, and the bigger films end up doing it. What streaming does, and this is why I kept disagreeing every time you're like, streaming killed it. No, this was the declining business that's been going down in terms of its sort of attendance solely because of the fact that they didn't really know how to fill it up, because people started to understand where it's like, well, it's easier for me, like if I'm going to buy the Blu-ray, I'll buy the Blu-ray, or if I'm going to go stream it, I'll stream it. It depends on what the niche ends up being. Streaming also became such a facet where it started becoming really C-list content, and I hate to say that, but there's not a lot of
I'm sorry, you said what?
1000%
C-list content. I stick by it. If C-list, B-list, C-list. I'm not disagreeing.
Nothing on an original streaming service that is like B up. You've never seen
give me something that's worthwhile.
I'm just asking if that's what
we just talked about. Severance.
Severance. Okay, Severance. But here's the thing: Severance, right, is currently on a streaming service, but it's produced and published through one of the bigger companies. That's still money that they're receiving on that end. Yes.
But it's value to the streaming service is what the point we're making.
Here's the concept that ends up being, right? The same reason why all streaming services are struggling right now. They're all hungry for content, but they keep expecting that one thing that's equivalent to a blockbuster for them, and they don't get it.
I will agree with that. It's the streaming I guess industry extremely saturated with like really mediocre content. So go ahead. No, I agree with you in that. It's like they keep putting it, all these streaming services keep putting out all this content, but none of it is really like, you'll maybe get like one or two things that's like, man, this is awesome. But the majority of it is just,
and
it's like straight to VHS. Yeah, go ahead.
Check this out, right? Even let's say something, right? Let's say there's only one movie on your streaming service that is good. Okay, let's say that. That's worst case scenario.
TBH, but go ahead.
I'm gonna 100% disagree with that, but okay. Let's say, for argument's sake, there's only one movie on Netflix that's actually really good, right? And you paid $15 to watch it that month.
I wouldn't, because I'd buy it because at $15 I can own it digitally or physically. But continue.
Even so, that's cheaper than a movie ticket.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? If you keep in mind, now I live in North Carolina. It does not cost that much to do that. And also, when you want to get a membership, go to an AMC. Spend $20. You get $20 for 3 tickets a week.
And the possible exposure to a pandemic.
That's what I'm saying. Well, here's the thing. I get it. I'm not a pandemic fan of it at all. My local theaters, it's always empty. There's a rhyme and reason, but it's always empty. So I'm not worried about potentially running into that situation. Not in the slightest. I mean, I still, obviously, I'm vaxxed and I'm boosted and all that other shit, but like, my thing is that the whole industry as a whole has been flipping upside down slowly since the 90s, because blockbusters don't hit the same as they used to back then. They don't have the same mass appeal.
You know what killed them?
It's not streaming.
Streaming services.
It's not streaming
So-
services,
so
and I'll
no,
tell you why.
No, they
Well,
already said that. If you watch the
so-
Blockbuster documentary, they talk about Netflix isn't the reason for Blockbuster closing.
No,
All
it
the
wasn't.
money they made, the guy who was the CEO, he invested it in something else. So when things started to go
Well,
south,
Lampy was making that point too
Yeah.
with the Cineworld, saying that the CEO was also doing bad business,
Shit,
etc. But like, of course, I'm sure that didn't help. But like, that doesn't change the fact that that industry has been losing out to a competitor.
It
which
was
is streaming.
it was
Isn't streaming
losing
losing
out
out as
before
well?
streaming was a
Yes,
thing.
that's the point I'm making. Is that all
Kat,
of it is kind
Kat,
of
what were you saying? I'm
trickling
sorry.
down a drain that no one knows where it's going.
Wait. Kat was saying something. Kat, what was on your mind?
No, so essentially, I was just trying to say. So what I get from what you're saying, Will, is that this would have been the trend, or this would have been happening regardless of COVID happened. This industry this was the way that it was going regardless. You don't think that being the
Is she breaking in and out?
Yeah, sorry, Kat. Yeah, we're losing you a little bit.
time it was? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm gonna make hearing what you're.
Bickley said, did you say that even regardless of the pandemic, that this trend would have continued in this same direction?
Yeah.
regardless of the pandemic?
Do you
That's
think it would
my
continue
point.
at the same speed?
I'm not saying that. Listen, to say that it directly accelerated it fully is just a little foolish, right? Because of the fact that there's external factors that end up being a thing. The fact that the pandemic, yes, already impacted how we're producing, the types of content that we're consuming, and the fact that things that was already, again, a dying art, blockbusters, are no longer a thing, right? We try to make it. It doesn't have the appeal of what it used to. So what I'm trying to get at when we're coming through it is that as those streaming services have their place, the entertainment in terms of film and television are kind of struggling outside of when they're on network shows. And there's a rhyme or reason for that. I can't really go into every aspect because I don't pretend I know everything that's going into it. I mean, I thought I understood the CW, and they were like, their main fucking category is like, or their average age of their viewer is 58 years old.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't add up to me. You add
What
up
are you
that
saying?
content, it's not
That graph sounds wrong.
and no, but it's things like that were revealed when Nexstar absorbed them or purchased them. My thing is what I'm trying to get at is that this was going to happen regardless. I don't dislike Netflix or the other streaming services that end up being a thing. I think they have their purpose. I think some of their original content is fantastic, especially when they absorb it or they purchase it from older things. Like there used to be a show called One Day at a Time that was a reboot that used to be on, I think, like Freeform or something like that, and got absorbed by Netflix, and then Netflix gave it out. Things like that, fantastic. Even when they do the original, like I know they do a lot of anime and sort of cartoons. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that what ends up being the death of it is it's a way more than just streaming. Streaming might have helped accelerate it. It's not the main reason though. Once you start getting
what would
trying to make
you
right there.
think is the main reason then?
you can't it's a puzzle. You can't it's not one piece that
Because I'm not saying streaming is the only.
Yeah, that's
factor.
what I'm
I
saying,
mean,
like-
it's
No.
the biggest
I
one.
don't think it's the biggest in the slightest. I think there's been a struggle within the industry to create that sort of recapture that magic in terms of things as storytelling has started to become more, hate to say it, marvelized, and how the fact that they have to follow that sort of format. I mean, it's the same reason why
That, you know what? I think that what you're saying right now is further proof to the point I'm trying to make. The fact that Marvel has basically galvanized the blockbuster so that almost every single movie that they release is a bigger blockbuster than the last. That sounds like a bubble. Something that at some point is going to need to burst. Hold on 1 second. At some point, that's not going to be sustainable. No one else is going to be able to keep up with them, even Marvel.
Yeah.
And that hurts the movie theater industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the streaming services, which I believe are their biggest competition, are releasing very prestigious television series. Like people, multiple outlets have been saying, like for years now, that we are in a golden age of TV.
Right.
There are fantastic TV series, and it's because TV series work better on a streaming platform than they do in a movie theater. So that's the reason why you're seeing less and less blockbusters less quality in those blockbusters and higher budget, higher quality TV series, because that's going to go to the more popular service, which is streaming.
But we don't know if they're making money on it. No one knows that yet.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We don't
The
know
problem
that.
is that the
So-
streaming platform, which is the most popular, which is the thing that's galvanizing everything right now, it's like, yes, we're getting a lot of subscribers, but the amount of money we're spending doesn't seem to equal the amount of money we're making. And like, they're only very recently starting to come to that realization.
And they keep increasing prices as well. So that tells us.
Yeah, because they're trying to.
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to.
You
recoup something.
have to look at it like this. I would correlate and say that streaming is pretty much the death of majority of cable television. And I think that's more of a direct correlation that we can connect into it because of prices, because of the fact that we don't have to worry about ESPN because Disney wants to squeeze an extra $2 out of us. That $30 bill is now increasing higher. You know what I mean? Like, it's things like that where those chunks are actually like you can attain and say that we can connect it and say it correlates. As where film is its own different beast. And
So you're saying is it more so like film's fault? Like you're saying there are all these different factors.
Here's the thing: it's all what used to be a little bit more absorbable, like the things that were more profitable back in the day, outside of just blockbusters. You can actually watch a smaller film that's, I would say, indie-esque, but not fully indie because they were picked up by like a bigger comp. But I'm saying the thing is that like that had more of an appeal where you can get your money back on that. But as the audience changed, the need changed as formats changed. That's not only streaming. That's the fact that we started to hold things in our pocket. That's the fact that we no longer want to collect physical things as much. There's the fact that there's a lot of people who just don't, like Kat said it perfectly, I don't want to go to the theater. There's no rhyme or reason to do that. I have my comfort, and I have, like, if it's dropping VOD same day, okay. Pirates are going to pirate it either way. Right. So there's no profitable way, and we're going to link it, go through a whole different sort of assignments to try to understand where is it where. But you know for a fact, I mean, you work with Ubi now, you see, yeah, I'm throwing that in your face. You see where there's things like, for example, we had, Immortals Rising that's going to Game Pass. There's a rhyme or reason that that's being done. We're not making any additional money. The money that we're making is to have that for a certain time frame on that platform.
Game Pass, right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with Netflix. I mean, as it sounds dumb, but do you remember? Well, there was a show called Ned's Declassified, right? School Survival Guide, old thing. Show. Yeah, yep. I love that show, right? They don't get any royalties that it's on Netflix. That's not in their contract.
They paid a flat fee.
Exactly. Yeah. This goes straight to the line, the pockets of those who are actually distributing. So it's not like a money generator, like you mentioned. We have to figure out where the money's coming from to gain from that. Mm-hmm. But as much as it comes down to it, I think it's just a bigger piece that realistically we can't answer right here and there. We can say that streaming has escalated or elevated in terms of like how fast things are going, but that was for convenience. And now people who want to watch movies, like bigger movies, can't go to Netflix. Netflix doesn't have that. They have to get it from the major distributor. And that's still a factor because film still is, it's a weird sort of catch-22.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. Like movies don't usually go to DVD or digital until it depends on. It used to be like 4 or 5 months. Now it depends on how well the movie
that window closed. It used to be 6 months at one point.
Yeah, now it depends on how well it does in the theaters. Now,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. For my last thing is mostly like even as far as I go and I like going to the movies. The only things I go to see at movies now would be either a Marvel or DC movie or a kids movie for my son. Like those are the only things I go to the movie theaters for. Mm-hmm. So anything in between, even someone who's an avid moviegoer just doesn't go see. Oh, and the occasional anime movie, but like so.
I want to see Dragon Ball Super so bad.
Right. So outside of that, like it's very hit or miss. So like you said, the Marvel movies and theaters can't pay the bills off of a Marvel movie every couple of months.
Well, you know how aggressive Marvel is in terms of when they're showings. You have to show it like a certain percent. And they have to pay a certain theater, like it has to be a certain audience. So like it's for like AMC's and like Regals, it's okay. But traditionally, like if you're a mom and pop shop and you want to have a Marvel movie, you can kiss your biggest theater out. Like it's not worthwhile. That's why I hate to say it, but the good old mouse, who I do love, so I can't say I don't, but the business side of it, it's a little greedy. And I say a little, it's completely greedy.
Yeah, it's super greedy. But I mean, any final thoughts on this before we honestly probably skip a topic?
Yeah, please skip the middle
one. Yeah, totally random. I'm probably gonna get some flack for this, but I have yet to watch Multiverse of Madness.
That's okay.
wrong with
That's
that.
fine.
Nothing
You can
wrong
live
with
with
that.
it.
I,
That is absolutely
I have
fine.
not. I have not
Marvel
watched.
movies
Matter of
are
fact,
garbage
don't watch it.
nowadays.
I'll go.
I
I'll
have
go
not.
further.
I have
Don't
not.
watch
I have
it,
not
Kat.
watched that.
I
I have
wouldn't
not
say
watched.
don't watch it.
I haven't
Marvel
watched that. I
movies are
haven't watched
garbage
Miss
nowadays.
Marvel. I have not watched.
Oh, Miss Marvel's Criminal. You have to watch that. That's
I haven't
as a
watched
person of
Moon
color.
Knight. I haven't watched.
Moon Knight's okay.
The last thing I watched was. What's the one that came out before Moon Knight?
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1.
I'm not talking about the chronological order. I'm talking about like
Hawkeye.
the way it's been released on. I'm sorry.
Hawkeye.
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 Might have been
Yeah,
Hawkeye.
that's the last one I've watched.
I
If
haven't
I was
watched
you,
I don't
it.
know, I just-
I'd watch She-Hulk since you're definitely going for your law degree. I think you'd really enjoy that.
Yeah,
You'll get some
it's like
some tips, some pro
You
tips
try.
right
You
there.
trying to say something? You
No,
trying
I
to say
think you,
something?
I think you
All
enjoy
right.
it.
All right. All right.
she specified it now.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, that was a long conversation. We had a longer conversation before that as well.
I'm sorry.
Well, I
I'm
think
sorry,
we-
Stigma.
No. It is not your fault. Do not.
Because I'm
do not
here,
apologize.
100%.
Low key, yes.
Yo, fuck off.
No, but we will skip our middle topic because I think that's more of an evergreen type thing anyway. I really do want to talk about that. It will come back. I promise. The virtual influencer thing.
Can I
think
just
is
say one?
super-
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Instagram models are shaking in their boots right now. That's all I'm going to say about the virtual influence topic. BBLs are going out of style. The virtual
Don't worry,
influencer is
Kat,
coming from y'all.
if you
I
want to be
digress.
back, if you want to be back for this topic, just let me know.
Wait,
And I'll have
I'm
you back.
scared.
Same with you, Blue.
I want to know what the acronym for BBL is, but I don't want to Google search it because if FBI gets me, that's
Brazilian butt lift.
okay. All right, I
Okay,
thought it was
sorry.
something nasty.
I'm sorry.
My
I'm sorry,
bad.
Sima. I'm sorry.
I thought it was bodacious body lift.
I thought it was
I mean,
big
for some,
brown
maybe it
legs.
is.
I don't know. I'm just making up shit.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to our final topic, which we'll try not to spend too much more time on because this is something that we've talked about in the past, and really it's just more kind of tit for tat type discussion between Microsoft and Sony. But like I mentioned earlier in the show, they're going through all the litigation that's necessary to finish up their acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and essentially a lot of documentation and correspondence has come to light. Namely, two claims that I think are the most interesting. Sony essentially accusing Microsoft of being anti-competitive with their attempt to acquire Activision Blizzard, namely the making Call of Duty a first-person party franchise. And then Microsoft's return claim of saying like, well, Sony just doesn't want to compete with us. They go so far as to block other people from signing up for Game Pass. And like, this is the back and forth that I want to focus on.
Can I put a cliff
And-
note on that with you?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So for the first part, Sony said the reason why is because Call of Duty, nothing that anybody puts out can contend with Call of Duty. That's the reason why they're saying the acquisition shouldn't go through, and
Cap.
it's antitrust because nothing can contend with Call of Duty is what their
Cap.
words were.
That's a dying art too,
Yeah.
but here we go.
Cap.
So we can start there. Like, does anybody in here have any agreement with that sentiment that Sony put
I
out
feel
there?
like that's like a mom. So and so has this, and I want it
Exactly.
too. Like
sharing
their
toys.
like you have Apex Legends, Overwatch, PUBG, Fortnite, all these that are essentially the
Fortnite
same.
so low on that list.
Oh, you already know. You already know.
This is why this
Hey,
show
at
goes
least
so
at least I acknowledge it. But no, it's like
Shut up, Blue.
to say that is like the main reason why they're doing that. Like, come on now. Like we all know. Like who are you trying to fool?
And they
That
said
is-
it's not going to be exclusive. It's still going to be multi-platform. So I don't understand what their argument is.
for now.
It's
Well,
it's Chad.
here,
They say for now.
no, here's the truth behind the argument there. Call of Duty is a big deal. Like everyone is aware of that. Like it's definitely not the way Sony described it as like this sort of tentpole genre of its own. Like no, but it is a big deal, and you can move consumers from one platform to another by monopolizing Call of Duty content. The reason Sony knows this is because they
do it.
did it first.
Yes.
Yeah.
They struck those deals to get exclusive content onto the PS4 generation. Like they got like new maps first and blah blah blah. Like they basically were like, oh, we're the eminent platform for Call of Duty. And you know what? Those 360 Call of Duty players all migrated over to PlayStation. So what they're fearful of is Microsoft essentially now owning the company can do exactly that on their platform. And even if they keep it multi-platform, which they've said they do, it's coming day and date with Game Pass, which means on Sony's platform you're paying $70, But on Microsoft's platform, you're paying nothing if you're subscribed to Game Pass. And Sony knows that's going to shift a bunch of people over.
But I guess for me, I guess as a consumer, looking at it from a consumer standpoint, like, yeah, if I'm paying, $9.99 a month, or then I think for the high, it's like $15 for the even, there's like another level.
Yeah,
of
the Ultimate, yeah.
Yeah, Game Pass Ultimate. As a consumer, like, okay, cool. So if Sony is seeing that, I feel like Sony's kind of doing this to themselves. When I read through what you sent me, and I kind of start clicking on other links and kind of falling down that rabbit hole. If you know that this is something that Microsoft is providing to their consumers, as a company, why don't you do the same for your PlayStation consumers? But the point is, you simply don't want to. You don't want to change. You don't want to change up what you have for your. So you're basically getting upset at a company for doing something with their own content that they now own, but you won't try to. You still want to charge people $70 for a game when they can get that same game on Xbox and have access to several other different things. Does that make sense? So it's just kind of like,
yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, you're basically complaining and whining about it. Mom, he had Marsha.
Hey,
like that's basically what I thought of when I read that. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't apologize. I agree with Kat, and I really feel like what I would have liked is if Sony's like, they see this threat, right? Because it's a clear threat. Just because Xbox says they're going to keep it multi-platform doesn't mean that they're going to keep it multi-platform. I don't care what he says.
Yeah, and Lampy's throwing that out
Did he
there
say
as well.
that? Okay, yeah. Okay, right. So for now, it's multi-platform, whatever, right? Let's say that Xbox is going to make it exclusive. I wish Sony would be like, all right, bet. We going to make something better.
Right.
Like, let's just have some competition in here. Stop crying about it, bro.
But what's the difference between that and like God of War? They have that's exclusive, right? Some people, isn't that a reason some people buy a PlayStation? I'm just saying,
hold on.
That's why I bought a PlayStation.
Look at the numbers, though.
I know, you're right. I just mean like that's why I bought a. That's why
ain't nobody worried about God of War numbers when you're looking at Call of Duty numbers. Yeah,
But the thing is, if you were like a big Call of Duty guy, like you'd have bought an Xbox to play Call of Duty based on this current landscape.
It's a console
and that's
seller.
what they're afraid of.
Right.
It's so weird to think that people console jumped for a game like that. I understand doing it for just like whatever's cheaper. Like I understand being budget friendly, but to switch for that, very weird. It's only for maps and DLCs, and I guess I'm not that heavy of a.
But like that's their game. Like there are some people who only play one game.
Yeah,
and Call of Duty is that for so many more people.
That's true.
But you also got to keep in mind Call of Duty, regardless of how we look at it, because it's not like it's gonna go away as much as I want it to personally. It's not. But the thing is that realistically, their numbers have not been. Their numbers have been declining over the years. It's just because there's too much competition, right? Why go through the point when you right now we're in a rich age of free to play games, which makes it very, very easy to jump into something very like if I want to play
Call of Duty is in that basket too.
Yeah.
Like Warzone is
but also
free to play version.
But people who follow Call of Duty and have been following it through from the Modern Warfare time when Warzone dropped know that there's a lot of pay to win elements in terms of certain things. Like if I have, for example, the 2019 version of Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, Modern Warfare, whatever, and there's I want to play Warzone, there's certain guns that are unlocked if you have either Cold War or whatever the other version are, and you have to pay for that. You know what I mean? So there's things like that that's, I mean, if you got it, you got it. Or if you're really heavily into it, sure, do what you got to do. But I'm just thinking long term. I'm like, and this is hard for me because as a consumer, again, it's wah, 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 wah. And it sounds like that because of the fact that, like, realistically, and I hate to say this, but when comms are not distributed in the States, because I believe this was translated from Portuguese or something along those lines, it's very different because they can go through different laws and they can just say what they want in terms of, obviously, it's not as heavy as, like, what you would expect from normal comms. But what's confusing to me is that because, and again, this is where I have to be a little careful, I see Microsoft's perspective. I do. I also see Sony's perspective. And it's very hard to find that in-between line because the way I look at it is that Microsoft, from day one, since they realized they're not in PlayStation's ballgame, like they're just not. It's crazy, the number difference, but in reality, they are making more of their subs with Game Pass rather than they did with their hardware and their console exclusives. It's just not. No one bought an Xbox for Halo Infinite. If you did, then you're holding on to something that's just no longer there, right? That's just kind of what it is. You can go either way, but my thing is that like Microsoft has been a little bit more consumer friendly in that regard. I mean,
I would say a lot of it.
well, I don't want to say too aggressively because like I know Sony had their own thing where they were even like I remember when Fortnite was going free to play. I think Sony is the only one that gets a huge cut from whatever interactions
that
or
came out
purchases
in
that
the
came out.
Apple Epic deal that Sony had like a side deal.
Exactly.
That paid them revenue for transactions that they would have lost out on for making the game crossplay.
But
Which
isn't
is-
that the point though? Like, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Like,
go ahead, please interrupt.
So, isn't that the point when you say Microsoft is more consumer friendly? Like, isn't that the whole point when it comes to these things? Like, you know, like you said, they may not be buying it for the hardware, but more so of what they can, more bang for your buck, I guess. Would that be the correct
Yes, of
terminology?
course.
They're trying to add value to Game Pass.
This is we have a good software, we have a good system. It may not be to the same caliber as a PS5 or something else, but the content that we give you, it gives you more to do with what we do have, if that makes any sense. So
Well, this is why it was confusing to me though, because when I look at it, I'm like, Sony has done this for all of their exclusives. They just
It's their
got
main
friendly with PC.
strategy.
But that's the thing. They're now taking notes from Microsoft because Microsoft has been like, all right, well, fuck it. If it's not going to work on our console, we might as well just be PC friendly. And that made it so much easier. Now, with the whole prime example, we're getting all these Sony exclusives that are coming way years later. And their objective is to, well, we'll get them on PlayStation. And then we're assuming our consumers start to get they have multiple consoles. Chances are they're going to have a decent computer. They can do so. And they can play our games. But it's like a double dip sort of situation. And it's hard to say. But I think of it like this is the same shit that happened when, and it's not heavy for most people, but like MLB dropped. MLB games specifically used to be the show. It was PlayStation.
Yeah,
and then now
they first party Sony studio.
they gave it up for a little bit, but that's also because it wasn't generating the same sort of money. I guarantee you, if Sony had exclusive rights to NBA 2K, they would not be friendly with anyone else. I 100% believe in that. Because of the fact
I
that
agree.
2K doesn't give a shit about consumers. I hate to say it like that. They really want you to spend your money in game. And that's just kind of how it is. So, whatever. It's okay. That's fine. It's just confusing to me because outside of the consumer standpoint, it's just like, why are they bitching? Like, either way, most people, I would argue, in this day and age, have either an Xbox or another console, or PlayStation or another console, or computer and another console. It's very common nowadays. I'm not saying for every consumer, but that's just the assumption. And for the most part, if we're saying we're in America and you're not like in the lowest bracket of income, okay, fine, you're getting what you get. That's cool. But also in the same regard, they all just they're leaning towards consumer friendly, Microsoft, and PlayStation is afraid that they're gonna lose their cut of the pie.
That they'll lose.
Yeah.
Right.
But in
They will
reality-
lose because their competition is more appealing to the consumer.
But in reality, they're playing different games. Whatever Sony's doing with their subscription service is not Game Pass. It's not touching Game Pass.
They're trying.
Why?
Same.
Because they want to drop. They don't want the day and date to drop. That's the one thing that they're solely against. And I get it. It's
And that's because of the power and the prestige of their first party.
But that's also my thing is this: if they really wanted to play dirty, and Microsoft said it themselves, they're like, we recommend you dropping your games, the console sellers, day and date. And you know what? They're not. And I understand that because from a business perspective, they run things different overseas and the Japanese section of it. And okay, it's the same reason why Nintendo's stingy. And Nintendo just wants to do their Nintendo thing and make all their money. I'm not mad at it. It's just weird to hear this bickering between Sony and Microsoft when in reality, Sony can continue doing what they're doing, and they're still, what was it? The PlayStation 4 sold it's like some ridiculous number. Xbox didn't even touch it with the Xbox One systems.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry. People are there. It's just a matter of, are we going to play friendly, or are we going to be able to find some middle ground?
Well, I think they're both thinking more long term.
I feel like
Yeah,
that
but-
can kind of I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't
you're
mean to
good.
interrupt.
Go, Kat.
Go right ahead.
I feel like, you want to keep things exclusive. Like, this is our content and our content only and XYZ. But I feel like, in this day and age, when like you said, you have, all these the Game Pass and all these games, and then you have crossplay is a contributing factor too as well. Like, if there's a game that I can play on PC, my friend has an Xbox and my other friend has a PS5, we can all play
Thank
together.
Fortnite for that. Thank you.
Problem solved. Look, one more person says that Fortnite is a godfather of anything, I'm about to fight. Meet me in my
I'm just
DM.
saying.
It's going
I'm
down.
just
I
saying
can't stand it.
without Fort being as fucking open as they were because they knew they were making so much money. Remember, people were gatekeeping.
No, they forced their hand.
Sony was like, nah, we're
I
not
get
turning
that.
on the Switch. And then eventually consumers got to the point where like, we'll swap over. And it's like,
But I
all
feel-
right, maybe we'll turn on
But
the
I
Switch.
feel like there's certain things that I feel like should be exclusive to, like, for example, Zelda, Super Mario. Those are obviously Nintendo exclusives, and I feel like for me it would be kind of weird to be playing it like on an Xbox or like on a PlayStation.
It'd be
That's
great
what-
on
that's
PC,
exactly
though.
what they
Based.
banking on. That's what they
yeah.
banking on.
That's just me though. However,
No, I
there's
get
certain
that.
things like down the road for stuff like if you're looking at your company as a whole, trying to keep so much stuff exclusive, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. But that's just myself from working where I working for the Department of Defense. I'm just using an example. The Defense Commissary Agency. That is something that military and retirees can use. But now recently, the Department of Defense has opened up the exchange. It's basically like a store that people can shop on base. However, the commissary will not open up shopping for Department of Defense employees. And in my head, I'm thinking
Why you gatekeeping?
that you're losing revenue. That's still there's still some type of exclusivity to it. DoD civilians, military, and retirees. That's still an exclusive demographic that you're looking at, but you're losing out on revenue because you don't want to open it up a little bit more. So I just say that to say that down the road, if Sony keeps doing this, oh sorry, my phone's ringing. Sorry. So if Sony keeps doing this, they're gonna end up shooting themselves in the foot, and it's gonna backfire. And that's not just for Sony. That's gonna be for anyone who tries to keep something.
Yeah, for anyone.
For anybody.
And that is the trick, because we've literally have proof of exactly that. Microsoft, who was doing it as well, making big budget exclusives and trying to sell their consoles based on the strength of them, have seen now that it's not easy to maintain. Like their big tentpole titles, a lot have dropped in quality, and so folks aren't really looking to them for exclusives anymore. They have to pivot and do something else.
Now,
Meanwhile, Sony and Nintendo have been able to consistently produce very high quality exclusives, and that's why they keep going down that same path. But as soon as they start slipping up, they're going to find themselves in the exact same boat.
Yeah. Now I have a question. Now, we usually judge things by the history, right? Like we're determining future actions by previous actions. Now we said Microsoft might not honor that. Well, once they make that statement public that they will honor it, there's no way they won't honor it.
That's BS. They've done that before.
Name one time.
Bro, okay. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll just pull up the example.
Oh, okay, I thought you had an example for me.
No, I just know that
like,
they've done that multiple times.
When
Like,
we're talking
bloody
about
companies do that.
previous behavior, what are some of the things that Microsoft has done in order? Public statements mean a lot, just like with Diablo.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think a public statement means nothing.
Yeah, Diablo Immortal, they never said they weren't going to have monetization in it. They never said it wasn't going to be pay to win. They never say they said the only thing you would have to pay for would be the legendary gems, which unfortunately, if you're playing a game, the legendary gems are the most important thing. They never said they weren't. But if you see the release of Diablo 4, they specifically stated that it will not be a pay-to-win model, that you will not be able to buy gear. It will be purely cosmetics. Now, if they go back and change that, the backlash from that, just like we saw in what game was that? Who did it in Crash Team Racing? They said they would never do they would never put microtransactions in that game. When they went back and did it, they pretty much killed the game. Like nobody even plays that game anymore. Same thing with Star Wars Battlefront. Once they said they weren't going to do any pay to win stuff, once that came out that they were, and the difference between pay to win versus grinding for characters, it pretty much killed that game as well. So you can't just say anything in public. And also with the antitrust thing, if they're saying these things just to smooth over the acquisition, then the acquisition goes through and they're like, well, you know what? We changed our mind. We're not making a multi-platform. But I also mean on their past behavior. They also just implemented Discord, which fosters a relationship with other consoles, other platforms. They know that people want to play with other consoles. I think that should.
Well, that other platform does happen to be PC.
It does. But it doesn't say PlayStation can't hop on Discord and play with you. It kind of puts it in their court. Hey, maybe they should add Discord too, right? Like if we saw PlayStation added Discord, right? That would mean that everybody's trying to play together. But right now, we know PC. They're at least going to PC, right? But I don't see them cutting off that revenue from themselves, like Kat said, where they're gonna go from making a multi-platform to just because pretty much if they're making multi-platform, the money that they would have lost by putting it on Game Pass, because you also haven't seen how they make money off of putting games on Game Pass like that. They would have made back a good amount of that money by putting it on PC and putting it on PlayStation. That just doesn't make sense for them to cut it off. And also, like I said, it just the market of people playing Call of Duty, I feel like it's just so much more on PlayStation because that has been their go-to. Even with the beta this weekend, like you got it a couple of days early or something if you were playing on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. So they definitely have a big market for Call of Duty. I don't see it being a good business decision to cut them off and just move everybody over to Xbox. I just don't see it happening.
I want to respond quickly to the disagreement that either Sigma said and Blue. A public statement to you as a consumer means nothing is asinine. And you should know this, Casey, because you work within the gaming industry now. How your public perceives you is going to make or break when you get your bottom dollar.
Extremely important. Yes.
I know it means nothing to other people, and it doesn't mean that it can make or break, but that whole thing, like you've mentioned, you ruin your community development, you're gone. That's exactly what happened with Star Wars Battlefront.
And I would say for me, when it comes to the whole topic of public statements, it's like the sincerity behind them, because usually...
Oh yeah, the sincerity's hit or miss.
Yeah, the sincerity behind it. And as a consumer, people can pretty much, after they read the statement, like, okay, I call BS, cap. Like,
of course.
You're obviously putting this out because of some type of backlash or some type of uproar. I do agree with what you're saying. Like, if you're poor in your community engagement and transparency with your consumers, that can be detrimental to you or whatever it is that you're trying to promote or your brand. But for a lot of times,
when it's reactionary, it's bullshit. I give you that.
Yes, when it's reactionary. So especially in the beauty community, like the beauty community and the, and other stuff that I'm into, like when public statements are usually released, it's usually after the fact. It's not like it's like
it's the publicist saying we got to fix this.
Hey, we got to smooth things over. So this is a really good discussion, but I can definitely see both. I can definitely see both sides of that argument.
But Blue, you wanted to
I'm sorry, Blue.
respond to part of that, right?
A little bit. I'm still doing research because I found a couple things that Microsoft had said, but I want to get like the solid stuff together to put to y'all. But as far as the importance of public statements, right? That's kind of what we're discussing right now. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about a public statement in retrospect versus a public statement kind of as a preemptive strike, I don't know. I feel like you're kind of putting more sincerity in one, or I should say more value, in one, just because it's retrospect. And I think that's right at the nature of it. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't believe a public statement until I see
the actions behind it.
The actions
like
behind it, right? And I don't count out the other possibilities.
Yeah, of course.
That being said, I think it's highly possible that Microsoft just says, you know what, Call of Duty is all ours. And I think they'll be completely fine. I really think they'll be completely fine because the people who play Call of Duty, they don't give a damn. They're going to play Call of Duty.
I think they'll see a class
I think they're just like
lawsuit.
Kingdom Hearts fans.
That's dramatic. That is dramatic.
I'm being serious. No. You think I'm lying? We've seen that with certain games where people have sued. Oh my God, who got sued?
I mean, it would be baseless. I would not be surprised though that a bunch of like Sony fans
some
got
people
together and was like, "We're gonna sue."
Red Bull got sued because they were saying they gave you wings, and the guy won the lawsuit because he did not have wings. He got sued, and it's a real life story.
This might have been a niche content.
Please send me a link. Okay. Information
crazy.
on that, please.
Yeah,
I need to see that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually have to hop off. I have to.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I just didn't want to bye, peace out.
We've been going for a little bit. We're pretty much at the end here. Do you want to do your sign off?
Sure. You can find me, Yokina Cat, on Instagram and Twitter. I actually just reactivated my Facebook yesterday after forever. Yeah, yay. So you can pretty much find me on all social media platforms except TikTok. I'm primarily on Discord, Twitter, and Instagram. So Yokina Cat, it's the same across all social.
I'm assuming she's
you can find me primarily most of the time in the Open Party Discord. And the and I'm sorry. You can find me. Oh, I'm sorry. You can find me
cutting out a little bit.
Sorry, you can find me at Yukina Cat. Pretty much all social. It's the same. So my handle is the same across all social media. I'm usually in the FGC chat on Discord. That's where I am most of the time. So if anyone wants to run some hands on some Tekken or Mortal Kombat 11, just hit me up. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I mean, Cat, feel free to hop off.
Bye, y'all.
If
I
anybody-
did not for blue.
See you later.
Bye,
I
y'all.
appreciate you.
If anybody else needs to like run, go right ahead. We're gonna wrap this up soon. I just wanted to make sure if anyone
I
has
just want to yell at Casey.
any
for
like
20
lingering
minutes.
comments on this.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
The one thing I just want to, I'll make it simple and as quick as I can make it, is just that the fact that like the way I look at it is that Microsoft has been trying to be more profitable, and they're doing so to make sure that the reason how they're able to do that is to obviously provide that service, but also realistically being more buddy, and that's because of the fact that Nintendo and Sony has had their shit locked down for a while now. And there's and I, you know what, I think the whatever's more friendly to the consumer at the end of the day is always going to be a win in my book. So whether it be cross-plat, whether it be at the fact that they're not trying to keep like gatekeep things and like, hey, listen, if you want to have this on your console, that's okay. We just want to get our cut. And I think realistically, that's where the industry needs to lean a little bit more. Obviously, Nintendo might be the exception to the rule because they're never going to change. But I think if Sony wants to change their perception instead of being harsh to the consumer, I think they should at least start hearing to the outcries because people have been wanting it. I wanted to play Stray, but I didn't because of the fact that like I had to do the extra thing, and I don't see
Yeah, you need to
value
go in a
within there. And
additional tier of their Game Pass competitor. Like it's
exactly, it should be.
stringent.
They're
expensive.
They need to figure out what they want to do, and I'm sure they will with time. It's just a matter of seeing what's more profitable for them. And if they want to continue playing ball with having their exclusives on their end, okay. But know that if you're a PC player, you should probably play the waiting game if you don't want to get a PlayStation or you don't want to deal with it till then. Because everyone has, if you have a modern day graphics card, well, and you want that experience, I don't think you should deprive yourself of it. But you got to give things time. You got to, and maybe Sony will do it, maybe they won't. But I'm happy with how Microsoft is proceeding with it.
Okay.
Respect.
Like so, my final thoughts on this is just we already have proof that Microsoft can adhere to this line of dialogue. The fact that they'll keep it multi-platform because they bought Minecraft and they kept it on every single platform that it was on beforehand, and they've not gone back on that. Like so, like we have a case study already. So like I feel like that lends a lot of confidence in the fact that they will also do the same thing with a franchise as big as Minecraft, which is Call of Duty. That's pretty much it.
Baba, Black Sheep, sleep.
All right, Blue.
Yeah, what's up?
Let folks know where they can find you as we.
Right now you can just check my Twitter and you'll find me in Discord. BLUB0NES. I'm not doing too much social media right now, but I'm around. I'm around in the shadows.
A very very blue colored shadow.
Very blue,
shadows.
dark blue shadow.
Superman Jeff, where can folks find you?
Man, you can find me around. Most have been working this week, but when I am home, you can find me in the Discord as well. Superman Jeff 12 across all social media. If you haven't already, definitely follow the top channel and everyone that's here. You'll see their handles above and below their name.
They're a little jumbled right now.
Yeah, I was like,
but
oh, what happened?
You know who's
yeah,
who.
you know who's who. I'm Sigma. I'm Will See Blogs.
Yeah.
To the right of me. So, but other than that, tomorrow I'll be doing some more multiverses. Been doing a lot of that lately. Once the season 18 drops for Destiny 2, I'll be doing some of that on Thursdays. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then I think later today we'll be doing Super Smash Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So definitely come through for that. Come play, come watch. Drop some bits if you got some time. Maybe subscribe. Who knows? But yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. And for Will See Blogs, where can folks find you? What you been up to?
You can follow me at Twitter. At Twitter. Yep. At Twitter. Yep. That's it. Follow me on Twitter at Will See Blogs. I'm sure if you just type it on the Googles, you'll find it everywhere, whether it be a podcast or whether it be Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It's all the same bad boy. I've just been kind of thriving a little bit, trying to make sure I'm catching up because I've recently moved. So I've been trying to still got boxes I got to open up and go through that process. So I haven't really gone crazy. Might have a sporadic stream here and there. So if you want, sometimes it's twitch.tv/WillSeeBlogs. Sometimes it's on YouTube, Will See Blogs. It really depends. You type in the name, it's pretty easy to find. It's not a complaint on my end. I also just realized I'm not in the open party Discord anymore. And
That doesn't sound right.
I don't use Discord as often as I should. And this is a little confusing at the fact that I don't have it, so I'm gonna see if I can just pop.
All right, the link is in there right now.
Yeah. No, but I was in there, and I'm very confused as to why I'm not.
Small thing, Limpy. You moved to the States. How's that going for you? Just something small. Oh,
They moved to States. Okay.
And he moved to the States?
No, I don't think he's moved yet.
Oh, okay.
I think he might be talking about a general move.
Oh,
He said long story, he didn't move.
Okay.
All right, we'll have to hear that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we got to figure out more. But yeah, if anything, again, I would recommend following on YouTube and Twitch to do random things. I've been trying to play more community-esque games just because of the fact that, like, realistically, I get bored with playing the solo player games. So now that's why multiverses, they're not playing.
If you need a partner, let me know sometimes. If you
we
have
said
one.
this last time with Roller Champions, and none of you fuckers messaged me, so I'm just gonna cry myself to
I
sleep.
never lied about Roller Champions. I never intended to play it.
I sent a message out about Roller Champions in the Discord.
Was it?
You should have been in.
All right, then that's on me. Okay, so then then now I'm in there. So if you wanted to at me and see if we wanted to play either multiverses, I know no one in this place wants to play Fortnite, but if for some reason a demon gets in you,
we might play Fortnite.
Oh,
We might do
yo,
it.
just say I guarantee you, as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to get something to drink, watch a little bit of Paddington, and I'm going right into Fortnite. I'm just gonna start cracking people with Vegeta's big ass head. But that's a whole different conversation. So, thanks for having me.
Okay. No problem. As for me, you can find me at CinemaGears9. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Follow the Twitter for updates on whatever else I'm doing for the rest of the week. We'll go ahead and sign off now. This is a really long episode. Apologies to anyone who needed to be elsewhere. But we'll see you next time. Oh, we'll see you for Superman Sunday. Peace.